at 502-339-1133.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It is Tuesday, October 21st. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. Coming to you live from the world-famous University of Louisville College of Business Studios here in the heart of Diwali celebrating Louisville, Kentucky. Cards fans, if you want to, oh God, I messed my notes up. Show notes got ruined here. Cards fans, if you want to incubate your inner entrepreneur, you can do so with U of L's top-ranked Innovation MBA. In just 12 months, gain the confidence and the connections needed to spark your entrepreneurial spirit. Learn best practices from U of L's award-winning faculty, serial entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, and national business leaders. You'll also compete for thousands of dollars in startup funding and business plan competitions. Start your journey today. The first step is hopping online and visiting business.louisville.edu. On the air today from 2:32 until 5:30 here on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, streaming across the land, including on YouTube, airing live on WBNA Channel 21. You know us better as the Big X. It's Mike Rutherford. It's Roman Kelly. It's a Tuesday edition of the show. Do we refer to this as sort of the come down edition of the show?
It's Victory Tuesday.
Unbridled enthusiasm yesterday, as we should, coming off of the high of the win over the number 2 ranked Miami Hurricanes, and the team had already flipped the page to Boston College, as they should have. But for us, I feel like yesterday was we were justified in keeping the weekend celebration going for at least the first day of the week. Maybe a little bit of celebrating today, maybe a little bit of looking ahead. We'll certainly get into some other topics. The U of L basketball program, I should say, got a commit yesterday that we didn't even get a chance to talk about because of the football discussion. We can discuss that. There's some other basketball nuggets flying around there. We've got, we got things to discuss that are just outside of the umbrella of, oh my God, we beat Miami, everything's great, everything's happy. There'll be a little bit of that, but we'll start, maybe not turn the page fully, but maybe get it like 3/4 of the way down. We're still glancing at the page, but we're in the process of turning it. Roman Kelly's here. Give him a follow on Twitter at RomyBean. Rome, how are we today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing all right.
NBA's back. That's your bag.
It is.
You love it.
PT went well today. It's tough now though, Mike. They're in there working me now.
What do you mean?
Like I'm breaking like a sweat with everything. They're changing up the exercises.
Oh, they're pushing you a little bit now.
It's getting really tough. It's more than just knee bending and knee straightening now. Which is fine. I told them, I want to make sure I'm fully back to what I was like before. They said we're going to make you stronger than that, and that's where I'm getting to. So it's the first time though that I've left and my knee has felt some kind of way since I left. Every single time, right after we ice it, feels good. Rest of the day, it feels like I had a great morning. Today, it's aching a little bit. So, don't know what that's about, but outside of that, I'm feeling amazing because it is opening night, like you just mentioned. The Lakers play tonight, so I'm excited to watch that. We had to postpone Real Spill last night because of Game 7, so we're going to get onto that tonight as well. And it's obviously basketball season starting this week, so it's naturally feeling like Christmas is on Friday a little bit too.
A little bit, yeah. No question about that. Yeah, Trevor was shining last night. Good night in the world of sports here for current and former Big X employees. Lions take care of business over the Bucks. I hit on every prop bet I made last night, Roman. Every prop.
Made a few bucks then.
It was a little bit of a down weekend. I went hard on the Lions last night. I felt good about the game. So I went Amon-Ra St. Brown first touchdown. Boom. I went Amon-Ra anytime touchdown, parlay with Lions money line. Boom. I went Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown, parlay with Lions money line. Boom. 3-3-3. Bam, bam, bam. We're in the money. We're feeling good.
Nice.
And then also, the Lions just kind of dominated. Should have won by like 30 last night. Had a couple of miscues. Had a couple of things go the wrong way. Missed a field goal. But still took care of business against a previously 5-1 Buccaneers team. Doused some water on the flame of the Baker Mayfield MVP frontrunner conversation. That felt good. Although
the flame that sparked up, just put it out.
Yeah, I said this a few weeks ago. I've kind of done a little bit of a 180 on Baker. I hated him in college. Did not like him at the beginning of the NFL. He's kind of fun to watch now. But but he was not.
I love him now.
Yeah, I kind of do too. But he was not able to do anything against a Lions secondary that had like 6th and 7th stringers playing last night, guys that they picked up off of other teams' practice squads and then started.
And your receivers were getting open.
Yeah.
He was overthrowing everything, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great defensive performance. Shout out to Kelvin Shepard. Clearly the right hire.
Hutchinson was also
Aaron
having
Glenn.
an insane game.
Hutchinson was great. The whole defensive front was great. Jack Campbell was really, really good. I feel very good about where the Lions are. Obviously, last season was kind of like dream season, but the injuries were so extreme by the end of the year that I didn't think we would lose to the Commanders, but I did not like our chances of beating the Eagles and then didn't like our chances of beating whoever we would have played in the Super Bowl. I feel great about where we are right now. Gibbs is insane talent. Goff is playing very well. The new offense seems to be going well under Morton, and I think defensively we're going to get some guys back next month, and they're still playing well without those guys. I think the Lions are in good shape. I think I'm not saying this is the year, but I feel like it's all coming together. I'm excited. We won't have as good of a record as last year. Didn't expect to coming in. The schedule is ridiculously tough, but I think they've got a really good chance of giving us a memorable January and maybe February. Did you watch any of Game 7 last night, though?
Yes, I did.
So I flipped over.
Right up into like 2 innings before, like an inning before the bomb.
Oh, you missed it?
Yeah, I missed the bomb.
So I was the exact opposite.
Ollie saw it, though. So.
I'm watching Lions, and then I flipped over to Jay's Mariners probably 45 seconds before George Springer hits the bomb. And I've watched the replay of that probably 5 times just because it's one of those, and I was texting with friends about this last night. As a Reds fan who's never come close to experiencing anything like that, you watch that and you're like, just give me one. I'm not going to be greedy. I'm not going to be picky. I don't care if it happens when I'm 75 years old, 95 years old, or next year. Just give me 1 year where we have that type of moment, make the World Series, hopefully win the World Series. I need it. I need to experience it once in my life. I mean, that place is just going absolutely bonkers after the home run. And, poor Mariners fans, they're still the only team in the MLB that's never made a World Series. This was, I think, their 50th year of existence. They're now 0 for 50. Very sad for them. Crazy stat. I mean, they were up 2-0 and then led 2-0 in Game 3. Trevor turned on The Shining, changed the whole damn series. Jack Nicholson just changed the entire tide of the ALCS. But Blue Jays, Dodgers, World Series, it's the battle of the 2 explosive offenses and the teams that people thought wouldn't be able to get here because of how bad their bullpens are. I mean, we could have some like 14-12 games in the World Series, which would be a whole hell of a lot of fun. I don't think anybody's beating the Dodgers if they're hitting the way that they've been hitting in the playoffs so far. But everybody
Dodgers starters throw their best stuff. They should be able to prevent those, but those bullpens are shaky.
I mean, we didn't talk about this at all because we've had so much U of L stuff going on. We didn't get a chance to mention it yesterday, but Shohei Ohtani, Game 3, pitches 6 scoreless innings, strikes out 10, and hits 3 home runs. People are like, oh, is it the greatest playoff performance of all time? Like, I don't even need to look it up. Yeah,
My friends were mad I was watching it after the first. Like, I was like, dude, he just went 3. I didn't watch the first inning at all, and I cut it on after that. And I'm talking about it in the chat. I'm like, you guys understand what Ohtani just did in this first inning? And they're like, dude, who cares? Stop.
I care.
And I'm like, well, I'm okay. I get it. Second home run, I'm like, are you guys not seeing this?
I mean, these are those. He does things that, forget about the tungsten arm or whatever that tweet was that was always talking about the Angels. He does things, forget about whatever sport. It's like you have to go back to 1912 stat lines to find, this guy scored 98 points in a game and had 73 assists. Like, he puts up those types of numbers in baseball in the modern era, and it's just like nobody's done this. Nobody's ever come close to doing anything like this. And I know they won the World Series last year, but he wasn't pitching. This feels like it's insane to say this, but this does feel like an opportunity for him to take that another step in the lore of American sports history if he goes out there and puts on a show in the World Series, both on the mound and at the plate. But the Dodgers they're a GD wrecking ball right now, and should be a fun World Series though. Excited about it. Are the Blue Jays America's team, Roman?
No.
They are. We don't want, people don't want the Dodgers to win. They don't like the big payroll. So we're going with the Canadian team as America's team. Let's get it. I'm going for the Blue Jays.
I like the Dodger pitchers, Mike. I'm a big Yamamoto, Ohtani, Sasaki fan. So
they've also got 2 former Cardinals on the roster. So
Will Smith's my favorite player in the MLB.
Will Smith, Dalton Rushing, both on the team. Kind of hard to root against them. Either way, I feel like I'll win. I'm just looking for a good series. Want some fun offense. Want something to watch.
I'm gonna get Will Smith on the show.
Let's
Need
make
him
it
to
happen.
open this DM. We'll be good.
I think he follows me on Twitter. I can hit him with a DM. Let's make it happen. I think I actually had him on the Ramsey and Rutherford show several years ago when he was like first breaking into the league, and good kid, St. Matthew's Little League alum. They don't, that's how they breed him, Roman. That's how they breed
Dan,
him.
right?
Yeah, well, Dan didn't play at St. Matthew's. That was his problem. Played at Middletown growing up. That was his issue.
Where he messed up.
Yeah, he's basically like the double A of Little League in the city of Louisville. That's what happened to him. And then we played travel ball together, and he realized that he wasn't good at baseball. I say that. He was good at baseball. He's slow.
What position did he play?
I was about to make the biggest kid joke of all time, left out. I mean, everyone's a utility player growing up. I don't even remember where he played. Outfield, maybe? I think he played a little bit of infield from time to time. He pitched and threw 45 miles an hour. I do remember that. Did not have the biggest arm in the world, but he was a good left-handed stick. He was a good hitter back in the day. But basketball was his sport, very clearly, when we were growing up. Good enough at baseball, good enough at football, but he was a basketball.
Were you ever better than him at basketball?
I mean, I didn't know him until we were in 7th grade. So he was always.
So he's already bigger than you by then.
I mean, 7th grade, I was my size now, but he's still. I mean, Danny's tall. So he was always a little bit taller than I was. So I don't know. Probably when I was really little. I think 9-year-old Mike could have taken 9-year-old Dan, but from the time that I knew him, he was. I would say he was always better than me at basketball. Yeah, he was good. He was a good player. All right, Game Day Men's Health text line today, by the way, is 502-414-1450. Let's address something right out of the gate. And it's something that I don't care for. I don't want to start Tuesday's show on a negative after all of the positivity of yesterday. But can we stop with all these national writers politicking for various schools to go after Jeff Brom? You knew there was going to be some chatter, and I'm fine with some chatter. We talked for 3 hours here. You run out of stuff to say. So you got to get to everything. I understand how it works. If it's a throwaway comment on a podcast, who Penn State should target? Jeff Brom. He's awfully good. We've got national writers out there penning 2,000-word pieces about why Penn State needs to prove it's serious and go after Jeff Brom. Mike DeCourcy's writing this for the Sporting News. And then we got David Pollack, who's been breaking down U of L film, saying all this nice stuff, saying Florida needs to empty the bank account to go get Jeff Brom. Can we not? Can we not do this? Can we not have one thing? I am not nervous about Jeff leaving. I do think, though, that it's raising the price potentially for Jeff Brom to stick around, and we need all the money we can get to keep winning football games. Now, the good thing about Jeff is, and this is not, he's a Brom guy, he loves Jeff. This is a genuine thing that I think people at Purdue would tell you, people at Western would tell you, anybody who's been around Jeff. He doesn't want to play the game. He doesn't want to do. Josh Payne had a great segment on this today. It was the best and most accurate take that I've ever heard from a national guy on a very hyper-local issue. He was asked about, national writers are now saying stuff, but why aren't there any reports about, hey, Jeff Brom he's having a conversation with Penn State, or hey, Jeff Brom, he's open to listening to Florida's pitch, or something like that, because all these other coaches are doing that. And Josh Payne is because Jeff doesn't do that. He doesn't go to his agent and say, hey, let's float my name out there for this job. He's just kind of yeah. I mean, he's a regular guy. You want to come talk to me, you can give me a phone call, but I don't Jeff's not going to go out there and flirt just for the sake of raising up his own price at Louisville. Now, I do think that Josh Hurd will reward Jeff if he has a special season. You make the college football playoff, not only are there inherent bonuses in your contract for stuff like that, but you will get rewarded by the athletic director. We're 3 years into his deal. I would assume that there will be more money. And I also don't think that Jeff is going to bleed the program dry for the sake of making himself wealthier. Everybody likes money. At a certain point, though, I think there are some people who say, I got enough. I want to go out there and win. I want to give our program the best chance of continuing to be special. And I think if Jeff said he would have to sacrifice a little bit of money from his own personal contract to keep building rosters and to have the money to make the football program in the best position it can possibly be to continue to win games at the highest level, I think he would do that. So I'm not concerned about Jeff leaving, but I don't care for this chatter. I don't care for this talk. I don't want people to see. We need to be focused on Boston College, Roman. BC. That's all I'm thinking about. Chestnut Hill. Dylan Lonergan. Whoever the hell else is on that team, that's where my focus is, and that's where I want this team's focus as well. Stop talking about Jeff Brom. Stop it. Stop. Have you seen this, though?
I have. We talked about it in the group chat last night a little bit.
What are people saying in your group chat?
The UK fans think he's gone.
Of course they do.
Of course they do.
Yeah, naturally.
Abelson doesn't like it at all. Abelson's not fond of it. Obviously, he's not the kind of person that knows anything about how Jeff Brom works in those kind of scenarios, but he knows how the game works, and he doesn't like it. So that worries me. But, he's a card, Mike.
He's a card. I'm not saying that I'm not one of those people that's going to sit here and tell you, well, Jeff will retire at Louisville because his family's here and he played here and he went to Trinity for God's sake and all this stuff. I'm not going to say that. I do think that Jeff, if he feels like the job here is not done, he ain't going to leave until it's done. This was the dream job for him for a long time. Like, I think if he stayed here for 6 or 7 years and got us to the playoff and then, the financial situation gets it to a point where any program in Louisville's situation just can't compete with the big dogs from the SEC and the Big Ten, and he feels like he's having to work too hard just to assemble a roster, and Notre Dame comes calling or something like that, I do think that he would think about that. Or an NFL job came calling, I do think that he would think about that. But he's not going to leave Louisville after 3 years. Unless, we go out there and win the national championship this year, in which case, yeah, he can do whatever he wants. If you win, you can go. He can take over at UK if he wins us a national title here. I'll be pissed, but I'll say, whatever. You did what you had to do. I sent you an audio clip, by the way, on the Big X DM. Jeff will not leave after this year, but you may have to give him a little bit more money with these high-profile openings coming up. The Josh Pate clip that I was talking about here, I want to play it. He's talked consistently well about Louisville. He loves Jeff Brom, but he's spot on here when it comes to the local issue of Jeff Brom not floating his name for national jobs.
Said, if we get a Miller-Moss ceiling game, you got that combined with the most underrated head coach in America, Louisville can beat Miami. Well, Louisville beat Miami because we say it every year. Jeff Brom is a top 10 head coach, period. Which begs the question, wait, what? A top 10 head coach? Well, if that's true, why is he not involved in any more of these coaching searches? That's a great question, everyone. Why isn't Jeff Brom's name involved in more of these coaching searches? I'll tell you why. Because Jeff Brom doesn't really care to appeal to anyone. He just kind of is who he is. He's coaching at his alma mater. He's in no hurry to get out of there. He'll stay at Louisville forever if he wants to. But Jeff Brom's not the kind of guy that takes a lot of time sprucing up his resume. Jeff Brom is not the kind of guy who spends 2.5 hours in front of the mirror making sure he looks good for a potential employer. No, just I am who I am. I'm Jeff Brom. Deal with it. That's a little rough around the edges. We can't hire that. Jeff Brom, that's not a sexy name. I'm sorry. I forgot it's about more than winning football games around here. Anyway, Miller Moss just...
I think he's spot on. Again, I'm not saying that Jeff is immune to listening to jobs or is just always going to stay at Louisville. I just don't think he cares that much about, quote-unquote, playing the game or having an agent who is going to play the game. He's not a Jimmy Sexton guy. He's not going to, it's just not who he is. I'm good with it. I like having it. He drives a 2003 Toyota Camry or whatever. Which I don't think is true anymore, but that was the most beat into the ground fact of all time a few years ago. He just, same old house in Fern Creek, although I think they've got a new one now. But it's just Jeff being Jeff. A couple things to get to here as we kick off the discussion for today. Some honors still rolling in from last weekend. Chris Bell and Jabari Mack, Roman, both Pro Football Focus all-national team for their performances on Friday. I think we could both agree.
Yep.
Well-deserved.
I think so. He was amazing all night.
Jabari Mack, too. Chris Bell Both those guys, very, very good. Rewatching the game, sometimes you watch in live time and you're not 100% sure if what you're seeing is actually accurate or if you're just a prisoner of the moment. Rewatching the game only made me feel better about Jabari Back's performance. He was everywhere. I mean, even on plays where the ball didn't get thrown his way, he's in a fantastic position. The interception that he made, could not have played that any better. Fantastic performance. He deserves all the accolades that he's getting this week. And, of course, Chris Bell, his performance speaks for itself. A couple of other things. The ESPN strength of record metric has Louisville at number 17. Now, this is one of the metrics that is supposed to be taken into account when the committee members are – it's not as in-depth as it is on the basketball side of things, but the committee members are supposed to look at metrics like this if it comes down to we can't really decide between these two at-large candidates. So Louisville having a top 17 strength of record is very good for them. Now, the problem is it's a metric that's in flux, and it reacts based partially on strength of schedule, and Louisville's strength of schedule in the second half of the season is going to be worse than its first half strength of schedule. So Cards need to keep winning and keep winning impressively. That will help things out. Louisville's also number 17. The Athletic does their weekly rankings of all 117 FBS teams. The Cards check in at number 17 there as well. The Barking Crow, great website. They do a lot of different things. They've got a bracketologist who refers to himself as Joe Stenardi, who has his own formula. And the formula has been, if you look at their numbers, it's been better than the S&P, at least more accurate than the S&P and a couple of the other national metrics. They've done very, very well. And their formula right now, Roman, gives Louisville a 35% chance of making the college football playoff. 35%. They've got the Cards as the 18th best team in the sport right now, and they predict the Cards to finish number 15 when all's said and done. But would you sign up for a 35% chance of making the CFP as it stands right now?
No.
No?
I think we can get better than that, Mike.
Give me 35. I'll take those odds right now. Especially when you take into account
the way Haynes King plays, the way that Virginia defense looks.
Well, those teams suck. I've already told you that. Those teams suck. But still, my thing is there's no guarantee that we're going to win our 6 games. And even if we do, there's no guarantee we're going to make the ACC championship game or that we would be selected. I'll take 35%. That's close to a coin flip. Close enough to a coin flip for me to sign up for it right now. I like it. I mean, 35. ESPN's giving us 14% chance, which I think is too low. But 35, I feel like it's a little high, but I'll take it. I feel good about it. So, as we expected, the win over Miami has brought a new level of attention to this U of L football team. Everybody's excited. People are talking about the Cards as legitimate contenders. It feels incredible. All the dreams are back on the table. Feels great. By the way, today is, I use this as the show picture. Did you know, Roman, today, 30th birthday of the gigantic bat at Louisville Slugger Museum and Factory downtown.
I saw your tweet.
30th birthday. Crazy.
That is crazy.
Have you ever been to the Slugger Museum?
Yes.
Like a school field trip or just on your own?
Why? I feel like two different field trips and once on my own.
I did the classic thing. I mean, I've been there, but one time it was just meeting a friend who worked there, and another time it was picking up bats that they were giving me for the national championship. But the one time I've done the tour and the full-on touristy thing was right when it opened. Haven't been back since. They played the video of Kirk Gibson homering off Dennis Eckersley at the beginning. Electric. It was incredible. But I was probably 11 years old right after it first opened. So 30th birthday of the Big Bat. School should be closed. Nobody should be working. It's the Big Bat, for God's sake. It's a staple of this community. It's a focal point of downtown. How are we working on this day? Everybody should be celebrating. When I saw the tweet, I almost went and got my kids out of school. We're taking them. It's Big Bat's birthday. Get them out of there. Come on. NBA tonight, Roman.
Yes.
I'm going to give you 60 seconds about why folks should be excited about opening night. Not necessarily the entirety of the season.
Okay.
60 seconds on why tonight is a night to flip on NBA basketball and watch.
You've got the stars out.
Okay?
Well, other than LeBron. There's no LeBron. Jimmy Butler will be out. I believe Steph obviously is going to be playing. LeBron not playing in the opener. It's kind of crazy.
Sucks.
There's just no way you're not.
Sciatica.
But unfortunately, it's part of it. Luka, though. Luka, Steph, Jimmy Butler. You'll have the guys out. And then Kevin Durant going up against the champs, his old team, the defending champs, getting their rings tonight, Mike. And you're going to be able to see him on display with his new team, the Rockets. Just a lot of excitement, and the stars are out tonight.
Didn't even need the full 60 seconds. I'm going to get more from you later on the NBA. I want some bold predictions. Also, I'm going to run some bold predictions that other folks have made and see how you feel about them. We'll do that. Also, we're going to play a little overreaction, proper reaction, football related, coming up a little bit later. Keep it locked right here. We'll also take text from you guys next hour on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. After the break, a little bit of hoops discussion, basketball recruiting, a G Leaguer joining the ranks next season. We'll discuss that and more. Keep it locked right here. This is the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450 96.1, The Big X.
High school sports.
Show presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus. United Mechanical, Louisville's MVP for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical plumbing, and refrigeration services. Call United Mechanical today at 502-339-1133. You can also visit them online at UnitedMechanicalInc.com. Mike Rutherford, Roman Kelly here with you on a Tuesday as we attempt to move on just a little bit from Louisville's win over Miami last week. Cards 19th in the country. They are, at last glance, a 25.5-point favorite over Boston College. And some of the predictive models, they don't think it's enough. It's not enough. S&P rankings from Bill Connolly say Louisville by 27 on Saturday. I'm fine with Louisville by like 10. Just get past this, get past the whole clunker narrative, and let's move on and focus on the rest of the season. Just get us a win. Let's make that happen. But a little bit of basketball talk to kick off the 3 o'clock hour here. This happened yesterday. We didn't have a chance to talk about it because the focus was solely on U of L football's win over Miami. But Louisville did land its first commit from the class of 2026, and it was one that we told you on Friday was going to happen. London Johnson, a former top 50 recruit from the 2022 class who has spent the last 3 years playing in the G League, has committed to Louisville. 21-year-old point guard will the phrasing from U of L I think was deliberate because nobody knows exactly how the rulings are going to change from day to day. He is expected to have 2 years of eligibility to use at Louisville. As mentioned, 4-star recruit coming out of high school. He opted to sign with G League Ignite. Kind of dropped out of high school, finished his classes online. Played 2 seasons for Ignite. First season averaged 10.5 points and 3 assists per game. Second season, 10.6 points and 4.9 assists per game. Did not declare for the 2024 NBA draft. Was selected in the G League draft by the Maine Celtics with a 21st overall pick. Only played 3 games with them. Put up very modest numbers. Got waived. Got signed by the Cleveland Charge. And now here he is putting his name back in the college ranks and ultimately signing with Louisville. This is, we talked about this 2 weeks ago, and I guess a lot of people didn't see that news about Thierry Darlin, the kid who's going to Santa Clara, who was ruled eligible by the NCAA despite playing 2 seasons in the G League, and there have been a couple since then. But maybe because Louisville's the highest profile program that's gone out and got a former G Leaguer, the amount of shock that was out there from folks, especially UK fans who were like, you can do this? Yeah, it just happened. It feels weird. There's no way around it. I think all of us are still adjusting to the fact that you can go get paid to play professionally in Europe and in America, and if it's not in the NBA, you still have collegiate eligibility remaining. But, I mean, Roman, 1, what do you make of this commitment being the first player that we've landed in 2026? 2, I assume you've seen a little bit of London Johnson's game. How do you feel about his fit here?
I like the fit, Mike. I like the fit because he's already gotten to play against pro bodies. He's gotten to play what is technically a higher level of basketball, in my opinion, than college basketball. He can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot. He can play off the ball. He can make things happen downhill as a slasher on ball. So I feel like a player like this who kind of does have all those abilities, if you can kind of just get him in the system early, see how this up-tempo, fast-paced, sharing the ball, moving off the ball type of offense works, he should be able to fit right in. I think it's insane that we've signed a G League player.
It still feels so weird.
It's really weird. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like it. I don't like it for the sake of the sport.
Same.
But I'm not mad that coaches are going to do this. I'm not mad that college coaches have the ability here and they're taking advantage of it. Because to me, this is just failed LaMelo Ball experiments, Mike. That's what this is to me. Like
what do you mean? Like
the route he took for the Australian team he went to. Like he's going overseas. He's going to do the overseas thing instead of going to college. He's going to come and go straight to the draft from here from doing that. I feel like a lot of people feel like there's some success in doing that. And the Ignite team made its name, and you could go over there and do this for a year or two, and then come over here to the Ignite, play a year, and you're ready for the NBA. And that's just not been the case for a lot of these kids. So I feel like a lot of the kids that are doing this technically are like they're not going to be crazy good college basketball players because they've gone and done this. They probably should have stayed in college basketball a little bit longer or actually went to play college basketball is what this means to me. So I'm not mad at that. It's just kind of wild, but it's no different than us going and getting Frew and Zugris.
It's not. It just feels weird because we all know G League is directly associated with the NBA. And, it's
like you actively made decisions to try to go be a pro rather than try to go be a college basketball player. That's where it kind of is weird to me. Like, you had the chance to go do this. You chose not to, and now you're getting allowed to come back. Feels like it messes with the integrity of college basketball a little bit, or like the
for sure
player personnel in college basketball. So I don't necessarily like that, but it's technically happy Pat Kelsey's taking advantage of the rules.
It's like, we've had so many players in baseball that have signed with U of L and then been drafted in the first couple of rounds and then chosen to go ahead and pursue their professional career and not ultimately play with Louisville. It's one of the things that's hurt Dan McDonnell at times over the years. It'd be like Dalen Lyle, who's lighting it up for the Nationals right now, is one of those guys. It would be like if Lyle signs with Louisville, gets drafted by the Nationals, and says, "Yeah, so sorry to Louisville, but I'm a first-round pick. They gave me a huge. I've got to go play," and then spent the last 4 years playing in like Double-A, never made it up to the show, and then was like, "All right, well now I'm going to play for Louisville." It feels. I get that it's not a direct, perfect comparison, but it feels the same way, right? Like,
yeah,
he's been playing in what is essentially as close to a AAA system for the NBA as there is, or as close to a feeder system for the NBA besides college basketball as there is. And now he's coming back to play in college. It feels so strange. Like you said, there's no difference between bringing him over and bringing, Zugris and Snanda Fru and guys that have played in professional leagues overseas and still have collegiate eligibility remaining. But it feels different because we all recognize the G League. As far as his game, what do you like about it? What have you seen? What role do you think he has the potential to play in 2026-27?
His game reminds me a little bit of, his downhill game. His game when he gets to the rim, it's kind of similar to Terrence Edwards Jr. I get it's easy to have that recency bias, but he has really good hang time, I've noticed, and he has the finishing ability. He has like some range on his finishing ability at the rim. It's weird to say that, but he can finish at the 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot range, and I think that's a really valuable skill set to have. I feel like young guys are kind of losing that ability a little bit, Mike. Maybe it's coming back some, but I feel like the floater has kind of been a lost art, especially when you're playing a high-paced, stretched-out type of game. You pump fake, get to the lane, help defense is going to come. You got to be able to have a floater when you're playing college basketball. I like that. He can shoot. He's had different, roles in his couple of teams he's played in the G League already. So, the sample size also isn't very big, and that's what's weird about the G League is you might be starting on one team, might be the lead ball here. You're a combo guard that's starting on this team, and you're the third point guard when you get traded to this team or you sign with this team. There's all kinds of different things going on. But he seems like he knows how to make the right play as a playmaker on the ball as well, which I like. Haven't found any defensive highlights at all. I don't think he's much of a defender. That's obviously starts with effort, but he has the size and the tools to be a good defender if he wants to be one. I just haven't seen any clips or anything.
Yeah, the billing, the only profiles that I can find for him, and the high school profiles are what they are. But there are a number of people that do focus on his defensive ability as a positive, as sort of a strength. I don't think, because I think people are like, are you bringing him in here to be, is this your pivot from Tay Kenny or whatever? You're not bringing London Johnson here to be your starting point guard next season.
No, I think the best case scenario, the highest ceiling is that he starts some games and he's the capable.
I think he's the Kobe Rogers of next year's team. You lose Kobe, you're hoping to replace him with another guy that can come in, give maximum effort, be a suitable point guard on the offensive end.
Can play off guard if he needs to.
A lot of experience. He's been around for, a long time. He's 21 years old at this point. I think the outside shot looks good. It's not a kind of a funky-looking shot that just happens to go in sometimes. He's got a good stroke. I think it's not an overly quick release, but if you leave him open, I think he can knock down the outside shot. He's got good handles. He's not overly quick, but I agree with you about the floater game. Seems like he's got that in his bag, which is great. And if he can be a solid defensive presence, he can have a good role
here.
On next year's team.
Defend. You can play here as a guard.
No question about it. So I like the addition. I think it's more of a depth add. I get that it doesn't move the needle for a lot of people. I don't think it was designed to. I don't think that you're bringing him in. Like, this is he
can't even play. He's coming in halfway through this season as a regular.
Here in December.
So I initially I didn't like that, Mike, but I think that's going to be a plus. He's going to be able to practice with the guys currently on the team right now.
Now, people are referring to him as a reclamation project, which I think is a little bit over the top. I think he has a chance to be a good college player. Here's the other thing, though. So this guy dropped out of high school. He dropped out is probably stretching it. He didn't finish traditional high school. He went to G League Ignite, and he did like online classes to get his high school degree. And he hasn't had to go to school for the last 3 years. I know that going to class as a high-level college athlete at a program like Louisville or any power conference program, it ain't what it used to be. Like, everything's online now. You still have to do work, though. You have to actually do some work. I can't imagine. I mean, when I was out of college for 2 years and I had to go back to law school, in law school is a different beast. I get it. But, like, it's still, I was like, oh, this is going to suck. Like, you get used to not having to do homework and not having to be in class for a certain amount of time, whether it's online or in person. I can't imagine, mentally getting to the point where I'm like, I never have to go to school ever again. I'm going to play basketball for the rest of my life. And then 3 years later being like, oh, I got to do a little bit of school. Like, I think that's going to suck for him.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to school
you
now?
don't just make that adjustment. That's not just a normal thing that anybody has to do. I mean, I get he's well-traveled. He's done a lot of different things already, but going and have to go take some random classes that be a part of a campus atmosphere, that's just going to be like, he's been able to do his own thing when he's not on the basketball court for years now, and that's going to be different.
Now he's giving an intro to public speaking where he's like, sitting next to some 18-year-old kid, and they're like, tell me something a little bit about Travis, who you just talked to. Like that old, icebreaker exercise. And he's got to be like, yeah, Travis, he played high school volleyball. He was good. Like nobody wants to do that as a 21, 22-year-old who's already mentally gotten over the idea of having to go to class. That's going to be tough.
Here's what I think, Mike.
Okay.
Ultimately, I think when you're looking at an environment where it's not common to bring in freshmen that you think can play right away or like be freshmen that can play, like not guys that are planning to be walk-ons, and bank on them being there more than 2 years, or bank on them being ready to actually contribute high-level minutes immediately. The same thing in the transfer portal. For the money you're going to go spend in the transfer portal, you're going to go get the 23, 24-year-old guys because they're still in the portal. They're still out there. I think for what you're probably paying for a kid like this and what you're going to have to go pay for either a freshman that you're hoping makes it 2 years here or double that for a transfer portal player that isn't going to be here more than a year, I like Pat Kelsey trying to take a little bit of let's go get a kid who has a little bit of pro experience, and we're going to have to pay him a little bit less than we would some freshman or some guaranteed experience in college basketball type of senior in the transfer portal. So I'd look at this as a pay cut. You're saving a little bit of money here on someone that you're going to need players to fill this kind of role anyway. Why not get someone in the system early? He has some pro experience. He's a hooper. He's bounced around, had multiple teams interested in the G League. That's not a bad thing by any means. So, 21-year-old kid that's planning to only be here a year, maybe two, I'm not mad at it. You're probably playing less than you are for a freshman who's going to be here the same time in that range of this is the 64th ranked freshman in the class of 2022, I believe. That kid right now, the 64th ranked freshman in the class of 2026, what does he cost you?
Yeah.
So,
you're getting him on the cheap. I feel like I can personally attest to that. It's not like I don't want to call it a reclamation project, but you are essentially throwing him a little bit of a lifeline. His career is in something of a state of flux. He still wants to play high-level basketball in America, and Louisville is definitely like you watch his highlights. Even when he's playing for Ignite, you've got like 75 people in the crowd at those games. There's no intensity whatsoever. That's not going to be the case at Louisville. Like this is a good situation for him, and I think he was eager. Like this wasn't one of those where he's trying to drive the price up and he feels like he's holding all the cards. We're kind of holding the cards here. By the way, if you look at his high school rankings, you mentioned that the 24/7 Sports Composite, they had him at 46th in that class.
46, not 64.
He is right behind Isaiah Miranda, who, remember, we tried to get him, I think was once committed here and then ended up early enrolling at NC State and then left. He is, if you're looking at names around him, Baba Miller, who played at Florida State, right behind him. Elijah Fisher, great player at Texas Tech, right behind him there. Trey White, number 50. Our old pal Trey White, who we're going to see again on Friday playing for Kansas, is right there. Donovan Clingan, 56th. 12 spots lower than this guy. Isaac McNeely, 63rd in this class. Felix Okpara, 66th. Kamari Lands, remember that guy?
Yep.
69th. And then Otega Owe, 70th.
Wow.
Can we bait UK fans right now in the easiest way possible?
It was ranked higher than Owe.
Let's just say it. Look, London Johnson, Otega Owe. You take the accolades out of it. I like our guy. Someone's going to clip that audio, Rutherford says London Johnson better than Otega Owe. Just facts are facts. 24 spots higher in the class of 2022 rankings. Milo Suzan, one of the best players in college basketball, 76th there. Do you remember who the number one ranked player in the class of 2022 was, according to the 24/7 Sports composite rankings?
Was it? No, I don't.
Nick Smith.
Nick Smith.
Nick Smith. He's a current Laker.
Yeah.
South Bay Laker.
I had
but
no idea.
he played for Arkansas. He got hurt. Didn't start the season with them, and it was one of those where they kept saying, like, wait till Nick Smith comes back. Wait till Nick Smith comes back. And then Nick Smith came back, and he was like, he was fine. he was just okay. And then ended up getting drafted late in the first round. But he was the number one player in this class. In this class, not great.
Who was number 2?
Derek Whitehead from Duke. Derek Lively was 3rd. Kyle Filipowski was 4th. This class sucked. Yeah. This class is terrible. Dylan Mitchell, who's still playing.
Guys, but
Dylan Mitchell was 5th. Gigi Jackson was 6th. Khalil Ware was 7th. Keontae George was 8th. Amari Bailey was 9th. Kaysen Wallace, who went to UK, was 10th. I mean, there's no. Brandon Miller is the only star here. Ended up being National Player of the Year as a freshman. He was 14th in this class. Somebody dropped the ball in these class rankings. These are bad rankings. It's also just a bad class.
Nick Smith was the number one.
Nick Smith was the number one player. I mean, yeah, I'm looking down. It's a terrible class. Otega Owe, 70th in that class. What does that say about Kentucky this year? I don't know. Maybe they only go 500. just throwing it out there. Speaking, we're talking about basketball recruiting. Would you like to hear a very positive football recruiting nugget?
Always.
So there's been a lot of discussion, obviously, about Jeff Brom, his ability to develop from within. How reliant are we going to continue to be on the transfer portal at the quarterback position? Will Deuce be ready to take over next season? What about some of the other guys? Well, you've got Deuce Adams on the roster. You've got Mason Mims on the roster. You've got Briggs Cherry, who currently is quarterbacking the 22nd ranked high school program in America. They're 7-0. His Baylor High School in Chattanooga, they're 22nd this week, 7-0 on the season. But how about the class of 2027? We were on the air when this commitment happened. Jack Sorge, who is a junior now, committed to Louisville back over the summer and did not have any ranking. And remember, we had the whole talk about, I was like, I don't care at this point if he's got no rank. Like, I just assume if Jeff Brom goes after him before everybody else, that he's going to have a massive summer. He's going to vault up the rankings. He's going to start getting all these offers. It happened with Briggs Cherry. I'm going to assume it happens with Jack Sorge. It's already happening with Jack Sorge. He went from unranked in the most recent Rivals rankings to now the 168th overall player in the class. He's the 5th biggest riser in the class. They're talking about him as a top 200 player and a top 15 quarterback. Some have him as a top 10 quarterback in this class. I trust Jeff Brom when it comes to quarterbacks. We're going to be in good shape for a long time. One of these guys is going to work out, and if they don't, guess what? We have a lot of success in the portal. But shout out to Jack Sorge. Big bump there. Feeling good. A couple other things to talk about. Louisville women's basketball. A lot of men's basketball talk, not a ton of women's basketball talk. Little birdie out there told Skim Mulkey, the Trilly Donovan for women's basketball, that Louisville took on Western Kentucky in a secret scrimmage over the weekend. The Cards prevailed 67-40. Boom.
Love it.
Suck it, Western. Also, just on the timeline, I guess just in the inbox, whatever you want to say, another honor for Jeff Brom. He is your Paul Bear Bryant National Coach of the Week. Ayo. Second national honor of the week for Jeff Brom. Brom is the 4th coach from the ACC to capture the honor this week. He follows, come on. He's not an ACC coach. Kurt Signetti won the award last week. Virginia's Tony Elliott has won the award. Syracuse's Fran Brown, that didn't work out well. All the other coaches are good. But congrats to Jeff Brom. Hard-earned honor. Don't talk about him for other jobs. Keep his name out of your mouth. He's fine. Other news. U of L volleyball, they dropped 2 5-setters over the weekend. They're now down to number 8 in the AVCA top 25 poll. Come on the show, Mesky. Come on. How are we feeling about volleyball? Are we getting nervous at this point?
Not yet.
I'd be more nervous. all 4 of their losses have come against teams that are now ranked in the top 6, and they've all been 5-setters where we've led 2-1. It makes you concerned about closing out matches, but we had a match point against Texas that hasn't lost and is ranked second. We had Kentucky beaten down before they came back. We should have won against Pitt on Sunday. We should have won against SMU on Friday. Got to learn how to close matches out. More bad news for Clemson football, Roman. Bryant Wesco, the leading wide receiver on that team, suffered a back injury over the weekend. He will miss the remainder of the 2025 season.
That hurts.
Tough break for them. Makes that game a little bit easier for us, but we never celebrate injuries here. But that's a tough break for Penn State, for sure. What was the last thing that I had? I can't remember what it was. Oh, women's soccer. We love to admit when we pose challenges on this show and someone answers the bell, we have to give them their kudos. And going into this season, I said, we're kind of talking about how this could be Year of the Cardinal, and the enthusiasm for sports across the board was just at an all-time high. And I said, women's soccer, let's get it going a little bit. We've had Karen Ferguson days, she's got another contract extension. We've been in the ACC for 10 years. We've not made the conference tournament one time. And I know it's not your typical conference tournament. They used to only take 4 teams. Now they only take 6 teams. And the ACC has the best women's soccer in the country. They're getting it done this year. They played number 3 Virginia to a 1-1 draw over the weekend. They are on the verge of qualifying for the ACC tournament for the first time. If they have a good final week of the regular season, they'll almost guarantee it. They look like they've got a very good shot to make the NCAA tournament. Props to KFD. Props to the entire women's soccer program. They're stepping up. Men's soccer, on the other hand, we had that win over Stanford to kick off the season. Haven't won an ACC game since.
Pick it up, fellas.
Need to pick it up a little bit. They're 500 right now. They will play their final road regular season game tonight at Lipscomb. If they don't beat Lipscomb, then we gotta
beating Lipscomb.
We need to. I'm worried it's gonna be like a scoreless tie. We haven't had much offense recently. We got to get things going a little bit, John Michael. People were saying John Michael Hayden coming on the show cursed him. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. It's not true. Chris Bell is the Senior Bowl Offensive Player of the Week. Congratulations to him. And we're not gonna. I'm actually not gonna say that. We're gonna skip that note. We're gonna skip that note. And also the hype continuing to grow. There's a good story out there today from Sports Illustrated about Friday's matchup, and we knew this was going to happen. The national perspective is Darren Peterson, Michael Brown, freshman star, potential top 5 NBA draft pick versus potential top 5 NBA draft pick. I think Peterson's going to be spectacular this year, and he's going to put up massive numbers because he's going to be the focal point of that Kansas offense. But it would be a nice little early boost for Michael if he goes out there and puts up some pretty solid numbers, has some highlight reel plays, and people start talking about, hey, maybe Michael should be in that big 3 conversation. Maybe Michael could be a top 3 pick in the NBA draft. Would love to see him go out there.
Mike, he's going to have the most electric 12 points you've ever seen in a Louisville jersey.
And I'm fine with that. He's going to have to play within our system, I think, more than Peterson will at Kansas. If Kansas is going to be good this year,
it's whoever offense.
Yeah, they need him to take about 20 shots a game. We don't need Michael to take 20 shots a game. I still think he can, if he puts up a couple of big-time stats, then that can help. You get that shareable thing. There are a lot of people talking about when they played last year, Michael was playing for Dame Academy, and Darren Peterson was playing for Prolific Prep. And Peterson scored 39, Michael scored 29, and people are like, "Ooh, Peterson got the better." It doesn't need to be about a head-to-head matchup. I don't know how much they're going to be going up against one another, but nationally, that will be the big allure of this game, at least for the pro basketball folks. I would love to see Michael get off to a great start. Did you see the pass that who's the guard, the freshman guard at Villanova? Now I'm just completely blanking. Not Darius Acuff, but the kid was committed to Kentucky. Why am I? Caden Lewis. Did you see the pass that he threw last night?
Pass.
In the middle of the game? They threw a full court press at him, and he does this underhand shovel full
LaMelo
court
ball
pass.
cartoon pass.
It was a straight LaMelo, and I was like, man, He did that at the very beginning of his first game at Villanova. I'm going to have to watch a little bit more Villanova basketball this fall because Caden Lewis looks like he's going to be, at the very least, entertaining. I love the exhibition highlights that are already out there. It's going to be fun. We'll play a little bit of proper reaction, overreaction coming up shortly, but after the break, do want to get your thoughts on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. It's a hodgepodge Tuesday. We're all over the place, but if you want to talk football, if you've got additional thoughts, if you want to talk London Johnson, if you've got thoughts there, feel free. Reminder, though, Game Day Men's Health, redefining men's wellness, no shortcuts, just results, testosterone, peptides, weight loss, and sexual performance therapy. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com and find out how they're defining a new era in men's health. We'll get to you after the break at 502-414-1450, but we pause for the cause right now. It's the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. It's hour number 2 of the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. I was just checking social media during the break, and I saw that Miller Moss has posted some behind-the-scenes footage. He's doing a commercial for Long John Silver's, Roman.
Shout out to Long John Silver.
It just says whether it's film day or game day, at Long John Silver's is always part of the playbook. I love this. Just you forget about Long John Silver's. I love that when you're the quarterback of a power conference team, it is a roller coaster ride. And when things are good and you're you got to capitalize right in the moment. They may hate you 7 days from now. You're 3 interceptions against Boston College away from nobody wanting you to endorse their products. So yeah, you got like 48 hours. If I had a big game in college, I'd be like, all right, let's get on it. I go to whoever my agent is before I even get on the team plane, and I'm like, right now, what can you get me right now? Let's go. Burger King, Manscaped, get it. Andy's TV, done. Indies, let's go. Whatever, Barano's, get them on the line. Let's go. Because you never know how it's going to work. I mean, I was driving to Parlor in New Albany last week. And when you're getting on the highway off 64, like, you see there's that big billboard when you're getting close to the bridge. I don't even know what attorney it is, but it's him and Miller Moss. And I was like, not a great time for that billboard. You drive past it this week, you're like, hell yeah, I'm calling that guy if I get hurt. Let's go. Well, I'm calling Tony Collier, but whatever that guy does, I like him. There was a national ad on during the games on Saturday night. I can't remember what quarterback it is, but it's somebody who's like sucking this year, who's terrible. It was Drew Aller. Like, he's featured on a national where they're like, Drew Aller knows about this. And I'm like, what a terrible decision. This is the risk you run when you're doing NIL stuff with college athletes. With pro athletes, even if they like aren't doing well that year, they're established, they're known, they've had success at some point in their career to get to that point. Like, college athletes, it's a little bit different. But yeah, Miller Moss, get those ads going. He had to put out a little tweet today about Floyd Street Media. He's doing his best to capitalize when the times are good, and that's exactly what you should be doing, because one bad game can ruin it all. I can't wait till he just pops up everywhere for the next week. He's just like, this is Miller Moss for the Mike Rutherford Show. Like, we'll give you $10. Sure. give us a nice little read here. Let's make it happen. Game Day Men's Health. Redefining Men's Wellness, also sponsoring our text line at 502-414-1450. Let's get right to you. What's on your all's minds today? Solid text line showing yet again today. Let's get to it. Here we go. Texter says, hey, Mike, long time first. You're not long. It's not first time. You're ruining the Cowboy thing. What's the football injury report going to look like this week? I don't know. I would assume a lot like it looked last week, barring anything unforeseen happening. Couldn't tell you. By the way, I did get confirmation during the break also that Jeff Brom still drives the famous Honda Accord.
Really?
Every day.
Wow.
Drives into practice in a Honda Accord. That's our guy.
Surprises me.
That's what I love. I love that about it. Texter says, Riddler here. Mike, I will not take back what I said about Josh Hurd just because he got some fans liquored up for the Miami game. I've made my demands clear. Banner, swoosh, conference realignment. If he wants some praise, he can shut up this Brom, Penn State, Florida nonsense and pay the man. He's going to keep the man. We're not going to Nike, Riddler. So you're going to hate Josh Hurd forever because we ain't going to Nike. Seriously, hey, Mike, U of L student here. What's up, U of L student? What did I tell you about big game Brom? I won't comment on the post-game celebrations on campus, but my couch was spared from the flames. These national takes about Jeff Brom going to Penn State, Florida, et cetera, piss me off and are an easy tell that these folks know nothing about Jeff or his past. If the guy kept his 04 Accord that long, there it is again, something tells me his sights aren't set on any of those programs. Give him what he deserves and let him retire here like he surely wants to do. Ron English, on the other hand, will surely be getting calls in the offseason at this rate. Anyway, with basketball and football both ranked this week, I got thinking which would be a better way to end the season for U of L, B-ball in the Elite Eight or football first-round CFP. Personally, I can't decide. Other than that, can't wait for this weekend, and I'm excited to see Saturday's uniforms that the equipment team keeps teasing on Twitter. Go Cards. First part, Roman, which would you choose? Men's basketball, Elite Eight, football, CFP?
That's really tough. I think based on how some of the heavy-hitting teams look right now in college football, I feel like we'd have a better shot of taking that Elite Eight and running with it than we would that first round. But technically, don't you make a lot of money from making the college football playoff?
You do. Big-time bonus.
And it's not saying that basketball, basketball we just have to let whatever happens.
It's saying we would lose in the first round of the CFP and we would lose in the Elite Eight.
Oh, okay.
Which would you take?
I'll lose in the first round.
Yeah, I'll take the CFP too. If we're just looking at it, like trying to break it, which would be the bigger overachievement? Football was not preseason top 25. Making it into the playoff means you're top 12. That's a bigger overachievement than going from preseason number 11 to top 8. Would love to have that type of March run. We've been missing it for so long. I mean, hell, we haven't advanced in the tournament in 9 years. Would love to have 3 NCAA tournament wins, but making the playoff is a huge deal. And if the football program can do that, that's one of those trickle-down things where it affects the entire athletic program in a super, super positive way. The last part about that...
I changed my mind.
Okay, you're going basketball.
I'm going basketball, Mike.
Okay.
I'm going basketball. Here's why. Deuce Adams is supposed to make our first playoff entry. It's not supposed to happen this year, I don't think. I'm hoping it does, but I don't think it was, really meant to when we look at where these teams stacked up against the other ACC teams preseason. There's always going to be a tough shot at it. Pat Kelsey getting 3 wins, and I would really like our chances in the next season of recruiting. Well, I think we'll still have our ability in football recruiting. So I'm going basketball instead.
Okay. Have you seen the U of L equipment folks on social media teasing a big uniform reveal?
Haven't.
So they are. That's pretty much it. Like, they keep saying, like, tomorrow, eyeball emoji, all this stuff. Now, I wonder, I don't want to, like, take the pee out of this, but we were supposed to have, we got the release from Adidas at the beginning of the season saying they're going to wear those black retro unis for the game against, what was the game where they were supposed to wear it? Was it the Pitt game, Virginia game? I think it was the Virginia game. And they ended up not wearing them and going with, like, the more traditional look. And people were kind of speculating because, it wasn't just made up. Adidas sent this out and said Louisville's going to wear these on October 7th, whatever the game was. And I wrote about it. Alexis Cubitt wrote about it for the CJ, and then they ended up not wearing them. And I wondered, people were like, well, it's like supposed to be 88 degrees on this day, and it's the middle of the day. Wearing black is counterproductive. I wonder if those uniforms are going to pop up for Saturday. It's a night game. It's going to be a little bit cooler. I wonder if that's what we're going to see tomorrow.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
And those jerseys are cool, but, like, we've already seen them, so it's not – I hope it's something different, but I kind of think –
we're due for something different.
I kind of think that that's what it's going to be. We've already seen the uniforms, so it's not going to be crazy. But, sometimes you forget things in 3 months. It's been a long time since that release came out. Maybe people are going to be surprised still. Texture says, hey, Mark and Bloman, happy National Round Ball Rock Day. I'm excited about the debut of NBA on NBC. Also, you skipped over my last 2 texts from yesterday. What'd you say? Mike, I was at the game on Friday. It was such a crazy environment for Cards fans there. I almost got into a fight with a Miami fan, but it wasn't for trash talking. I accidentally poked the guy in the eye with my massive boner. Feel good about that? Feel good about what you texted into the show? I can't even be mad about it. We had the guy who used that word 75 times yesterday. So, yeah, congrats. Did you see the video of the Miami fans fighting after the game?
Yes, saw 2 different ones.
Well, there was the one of the old U of L, I don't want to say old, the U of L woman who punched the Miami fan in the face. Did you see that?
Yep.
I'm assuming he deserved it. It was a nice right hand. And then there was the one of the Miami fans beating each other up on the concourse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one just had, like, random guys running up into it.
One guy was just getting assaulted by, like, 5 different guys. There were guys who weren't even in the video at the start, just walking in and pummeling that poor guy. That's what losing to Louisville is going to do to you. Sorry. I mean, that fan base, they are the most angry and on-edge fan base in all of college sports. They're just ready to fight somebody. Just constantly, they're looking to fight somebody. They don't show up in high numbers, but the guys who do go to the game, they're like, if I scan this ticket, I must draw blood. That's the mentality that they take into those games, and you kind of got to know what you're getting into if you're going to a game down there. Texture says,
I'm excited for the NBA on NBC too. I'm interested to see what kind of leash they give Michael Jordan.
Are they on NBC tonight?
I think they are.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be perfectly honest with you. I could not care less about the NBA. Could not. Right now. Just zero interest whatsoever. I will not watch. I'm not going to say that. There's not I don't know what the CUSA football games are on tonight, but
you're going to end up cutting that Lakers game on.
I might when I fall asleep. That'd be a little worry. I love a little late night stuff, for sure. Texture says, Lazard guy here. What's up, Lazard guy? I'm 35, and for the first time in my life, it feels incredible to have our football coach be the talk of the media and have absolutely zero concern that he's leaving. We've got a top 10 coach, and he wants to be here. It feels good, man.
It does feel good.
It does. It absolutely feels good. Let me repeat myself. I'm not of the belief that Jeff Brom is his ties to Louisville, they don't guarantee that he's going to retire here. They don't. I think they do guarantee that he's here for maybe longer than he would be if he didn't have ties here. Like if he were the coach at Northwestern right now, and he was about to take them to the playoff or the verge of the playoff, yeah, I think after 3 years, there's a decent chance that he would leave for Penn State or Florida or whatever job comes calling. I don't think he's going to leave right now after 3 years in Louisville. I think he feels like he's kind of just getting going here, and he wants to see this thing through. But after like 10 years, 8, 9 years, if he feels like he's accomplished all that he can accomplish and there's something else out there that he wants to try before he gets too old, I could see him leaving for a big-time job or a shot at the NFL or something along those lines. But for right now, I have no concern that he's going anywhere. Texas says, hey, Mike, I was thinking about when both football and basketball vibes were this high at the same time during this time of the year. And it's been at least 9 years since it feels like that. I think in hindsight, it would be nearly impossible for our current teams to finish the year as bad as those 2016-17 teams did and the ensuing bleep show after those seasons. Vibes are at a decade level high, and the future is bright.
Decade level high, Mike?
I mean, I think so. We talked about when was the last time that we felt like this much excitement going into a season for both teams. And we talked about 2019. That basketball team was preseason top 5. The football team, it was starting a new era with Scott Satterfield. I mean, there was definitely, like, we were high on the football team at this point in 2019, but it was more of a, oh my God, we just went 2-10 last year. I can't believe that we're sitting here at, what were we on October 21st? We just lost to Clemson, 45-10. Well, that wasn't good. We were 4-3 with losses to Notre Dame, Florida State, and Clemson. We were about to beat Virginia. You know, we ended up finishing the season strong. So probably the football vibes not nearly as high as they are right now, even though it was a pleasant surprise to have that win over Wake Forest. So if you go back, I mean, 2018 football was a disaster. 2017, that season by this point was already a disappointment. Yeah, I think it's 2016-17 because at this point in the 2016 season, we were in the thick of what felt like a race for the playoff. We'd only lost to Clemson. We were pummeling teams. Lamar was pursuing the Heisman. And that basketball team, who ended up being a 2 seed, I don't think they were preseason top 5 or anything like that. I'm gonna look it up real quick, but I think they were preseason like top 15, number 13 in the AP poll preseason. So actually, the basketball vibes were a little bit lower. Yeah, I mean, think about that. It's been 9 years since going into the penultimate week of October that we felt this good about football and men's basketball at the same time.
It's crazy.
Soak it up. Enjoy it. No guarantees moving forward. Never know what's going to happen. Right now, this moment, things are pretty good. Texture says, I need a Brom extension like I need air. Calm down. Everybody just calm down. We're going to be fine. It's going to be good. We're good to go. Texas Mike, UK fans have nothing to celebrate anymore. That so much so that it seems like half of them can only talk about random message boards saying that Brom is going to Florida, Penn State, or Notre Dame. Life is good. Is what your friends are saying?
A little bit. They don't know anything, though.
Is it Harlow's little brother again?
No. Not him.
I know he's a UK guy. He's a UK terrorist.
He is.
It's okay, though. There is a decent amount of this floating around where it's UK fans, and it does feel like wishful thinking. Like, yeah, they're going to come take your coach. They're not going to come take our coach. I think also, I mean, UK fans are now realizing you are in if you do dole out the $38 million to get rid of Mark Stoops, you are in a high-profile bidding war with some of the biggest names in the sport if you want to go after the biggest targets that people are talking about. And I don't know how realistic those names are. You know, we don't need to talk about it anymore, but like some of the names that UK fans are floating around, and it's not a UK specific thing. Every fan base does it. I think every fan base thinks that they can. I mean, look at both fan bases when we had basketball coaching hires a couple of years ago. You know, they're out there saying we're going to get, you know, Gus Mount, whoever. And it's just, it's probably not going to happen. Now, Will Stein would be an interesting one. Will Stein, some UK fans are like, we don't want anybody with U of L ties. That'd be the dumbest thing you can do. Will Stein grew up a diehard Kentucky fan. His family, all diehard Kentucky fans. Yes, he played here. Yes, he's going to be loyal to Louisville. But I think he would come back. If he's not the top option for a school like Florida, I think he would not hate a return closer to home. And I think he would give you the type of offense that you've been desperate to have basically since Hal Mummy left. So that would worry me because I love Will and I don't want him to go to UK. But I think it's possible that he would take that job. Texter says, PRTG here. Roman, how do we not get 4 of them things, air horns, at the beginning of the show?
Probably should have.
I didn't think about it. Miami's fatal flaw was hubris, just like Billy Mumphrey. But do you love Dracula's deuce, Roman? PRTG
Yes.
guys getting more and more just.
Yes, I do.
What does this mean?
I have no idea.
Okay, you acted like you knew what he was talking about.
Do you love Dracula's deuce? I don't know.
Podcast Random Thoughts guys getting more and more esoteric to the point that neither one of us have any idea what he's talking about from the show before.
Normally I do, but this one's.
Like 2 of the last 3 days, he said multiple things that I just have no idea what he's talking about. Romanators texted in. I'm not reading your first-time texter cowboy thing. Can we have Trevor call in and talk about the Jays in the World Series? Big fan, but once again, first-time texter. No, you're not a first-time texter. We might be able to have Trevor call in at this point. Maybe that'll be okay. Maybe not. He's very excited about the Jays being in the World Series. First time in 32 years.
You can hear him tonight.
On Real Spiel?
Yep.
Are you going to do it tonight?
Yep. We had to let him watch the game last time.
Oh, nice. I will be checking it out. I'm excited. Texas said, I need the collective meltdown from BBN losing to Purdue in Friday night while we pummel Kansas into submission at the same time like I need air. Please, God, give us this one. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to beat Purdue in that scrimmage, in that exhibition game. Kentucky's going to beat Purdue in that exhibition game, and they're going to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their fans are going to go nuts. They're going to start I can't believe we're ranked behind these guys.
How are we only 10?
This is like the Ken Palm knows we're top 5. Like, we don't even have Jaden Quaintance yet. We got Jalen Lowe playing with an injury or not playing at all. Like, they're going to win that game because Purdue's going to go through the motion. And people,
I'm going to love it.
I'm writing about this week for SB Nation. We've never had this in college basketball where it's high-profile teams playing each other in what is essentially the preseason. It's going to take years for college basketball fans to start doing what NFL fans and NBA fans have been doing for years, which is just ignore the preseason results. Not that you can't take certain things away. You can, this guy looks good or that guy looks good, but we've only had a handful of these secret exhibitions or these charity exhibitions the last couple of years, and the results have been completely meaningless when you look back at them at the end of the season. Like Indiana, I think they housed Tennessee last year. And Tennessee's a 2 seed that almost makes the Final Four, which they'll never do. And Indiana misses the NCAA tournament. There were a couple of other funky results. We're going to have to, as a college basketball community, work our way to the point where we say, okay, like we're not the best team in the world because we beat a good team, and we're not the worst team in the world because we lost to a good team or lost to a bad team. It was like the Bills back in when I was growing up, the craziest thing. And it was like, I was 9 years old, so this didn't compute for me. But the Bills lost all 3 of their preseason games every year. Like, they didn't try at all. And I was like, well, the Bills, like, they're going to suck. And then they went to Super Bowl 4 straight years. Preseason doesn't matter. We know that in the NFL. Nobody pays attention to it. But because this is so new, and because it's teams playing, you're getting your first look at these teams that are mostly made up of newcomers, because that's how college basketball works these days. It's impossible not to let your first impression run wild. So I think UK is going to beat Purdue. and their fan base is going to go nuts, which is going to put even more pressure on Mark Pope to deliver with this $22.5 million roster that topped the preseason number one in the exhibition game. Like, I want him to beat Purdue too, because we have the chance to break their hearts then. Can you imagine, Roman? UK, they knock off. This is the first. They play two nobodies like we do at the beginning of the season. We're going to have no idea how good they are until they play us in the regular season. But if they've got that thought in the back of their minds that we're better than the number one team in the country, and then we're the ones to bring them back down to earth,
that'll feel good.
That would feel amazing. I want them to win this game. And I do think they're going to win. I don't know how our game Friday is going to go. I mean, both teams are going to play a lot of different guys. They've got a lot of new working pieces. We've got a lot of new working pieces. I think they're going to try to do some things differently because Bill Self feels like he needs to morph this late in his career after the last two disappointing seasons. Wouldn't be surprised if we lost. Wouldn't be surprised if we won.
I've got a draft about Purdue that I was going to tweet something out. I haven't finished it up. I don't know how I want to say it yet, but I need to get that out there before Friday.
I want to hear this because everybody has Purdue as their number one. CBS came out with their All-American teams today, Roman. They've got two Purdue players first team. Braden Smith, obviously, and then Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Kaufman-Renn, yeah.
They've got two preseason first-team All-Americans. What's your response? You don't have to give me the full draft now, but I want to hear your response to that.
A lot of people think this team is going to be the best team in college basketball, Mike.
They do.
And here's what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have some good wins out there. That offense is going to have some games where it looks great, where Braden Smith looks like he can do it all as an offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
When push comes to shove, and you get some real defenders on these guys,
oh boy,
and the game's on the line, we're going to see just how well that offense looks. And on the flip side, Mike, if they get the wrong matchup, which I think there's a couple teams on the regular season and the regular season schedule that are, quote-unquote, the wrong matchup for them, it'll get exposed when they can't guard anything. And it's layup lines on Purdue every time they play an athletic team. I haven't put a number on it yet. It doesn't feel like what I feel is stronger than just saying they won't be the best team in college basketball. I don't even want to go like top 5 because I really don't believe they're going to be top 10. But that's their schedule and how good that offense can look. They should be able to string a lot of wins together. I think when they play the big teams, the big athletic teams, and they've got a lot of big games when it comes down to the wire, and they've got to defend to win the game, that's where I think they'll struggle, Mike. So I've just got to find a way to put that into words before this season starts.
Now, they play Alabama in Tuscaloosa on the second Thursday of the season, November 13th.
Lucky they get Auburn at home.
Are you putting...
My birthday, Mike.
Are you going ahead and making upset alert level?
I'm making some money that night. It's going to be a
13th.
great birthday.
All right. There it is. Roman Kelly. I think that one could be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun.
I say I'm making some money. Alabama's going to be favored. The books know.
Looks like Ken Palm has Purdue by 2.
We'll see.
Okay. They don't play anybody before that. Bama does have a big-time game against St. John's before that. If Bama goes and beats St. John's in Madison Square Garden, yeah, they'll probably be – it'll either be a pick 'em or Bama will be a slight favorite. If they lose to St. John's, I think Purdue's a slight favorite in that game. Either way, should be a whole hell of a lot of fun. Bama's early season schedule, by the way, they play St. John's, Purdue, Illinois, and Gonzaga in the first 2 weeks of the season, which is just outrageous. Nate Oates, he don't duck no smoke. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville, said, had to wear my U of L tie today. I've got no lingering thoughts except for this. We've seen big game Braum. Can you imagine playoff Braum?
Ooh.
We make the playoff. That guy is winning a game. By the way, that tie is gorgeous. That's sick, Dave.
I need a tie like that.
Love that tie. I had a U of L tie because we had to wear ties in high school, and I wore it every single game day during the winter. Could not. I felt like I was letting the team down if I wasn't wearing the tie to school when U of L was playing. Had to rock the U of L tie. Got worn down, still kept it alive senior year. Had to keep going. He makes a good point. Because even if we played in the ACC championship game, let's say we win the ACC championship game first Saturday of December, we'll have a couple of weeks before that first playoff game, at least. It's a lot of time to prep. You give Jeff a little bit of time to prep. He wants to bring out an elaborate game plan. We might see some bleep, you know?
I think so.
Might see some stuff in that game. He also says, can ticket punchers make me enough money to pay for my tickets Phantom of the Opera is in theaters this week, and I need it. How much are tickets to Phantom of the Opera?
Probably expensive.
Phantom of the Opera is one of those. I've got.
Sounds like it'd be like $80.
Music is the gift. I've got. I'm not the biggest fan. I know the music a little bit. I don't have any real desire to see it in person. But I'm not judging anybody who does. I get that it has a pretty large fan base. I want to know how much those tickets are. How much would we need to get for Dave? Oh God.
$200?
No.
Oh.
Well, that's in Boston. Okay, I can't find. I can't find how much. For a second there, the Boston theater was like $520. That's. Hopefully, it's less than that. We gotta go to break. We'll come back. More from you guys. Game Day Men's Health text line and Phantom of the Opera updates here on 1450 The Big X.
Tricks, sleep with the fishes.
Mechanical, Nexus Plus, 1450, 96.1, Big X Sports Radio. It is the opening night for the NBA tonight on NBC. Doubleheader going down. It's Houston versus OKC at 7:30, and then Golden State versus the Los Angeles Lakers. I read this today on the Athletics newsletter this morning. They have a list of bold predictions from the Athletics staff. And I want to get our resident NBA expert, Roman Kelly, his thoughts on these bold predictions that are out there. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I was trying to gather some myself today.
This is from Jay King, who covers the Boston Celtics. He says this about the Celtics. Derek White will be an all-star.
No.
That's it.
He won't.
Joe Varden says this. Lonzo Ball will resurrect his career in Cleveland.
Not statistically, but I see him, being a culprit to successful basketball and staying healthy because he's not asked to do too much. So I like that.
He says, he'll have to come off the bench. His coach, Kenny Atkinson, is a point guard whisperer. He's not going to be asked to play consecutive nights surrounded by shooting. I think it makes sense. I'm good with that. Do we feel like Donovan and Lonzo become boys?
Yes.
You think so?
I do.
Okay. Victor Wembanyama will log a quadruple double this season.
Ooh. 5th one in history?
Is that right?
That's what it would be, I believe.
You're right. Nate Thurmond, 1974, Alvin Robertson, 86, Hakeem in 90, and David Robinson in 94.
Now, Draymond in 2017 had a triple-double with 7 points, I believe, which is
That's very close.
Pretty crazy. I want to say Wemby got close once last year. He had a lot of those, 5 steal and 5 block games. No, he's not doing it this year. Okay. But I think he's the next most likely to have a chance.
Cade Cunningham will finish top 3 in the MVP voting.
No, they won't finish high enough.
No.
But then again, I see that there's people who have the Pistons. I've seen a lot of people putting his Pistons higher than me. So if he can get to a 3 seed, he'll get votes. But you got to be top 1 or 2 seed to be getting top 3 votes.
Rookie Ace Bailey will drop 50 points in a game.
No.
Do you know who the last rookie was?
I do.
To score 50 in a game.
I do. Brandon Jennings.
Look at you. Brandon Jennings in 2009.
Yes, with the Bucks, right?
Yes. There have been at least 11 rookies since then to score 40 points, but no one has gotten to 50. Trae Young had 49 in a game.
Really?
Blake Griffin had 47 in a game.
Booker.
We're about due for a 50 bomb. They think Ace Bailey does it. You say no.
No. 50's a lot. I mean, he'll get the shots is what's crazy. He'll get the shots. I'm sprinkling on him for Rookie of the Year. I do have Cooper Flagg as my pick, but the value on Ace Bailey just because of the usage, if they're not the worst team in the West, he'll get a good amount of votes for it.
Joel Embiid will win the NBA's Comeback Player of the Year award.
I hate that. That's so stupid that he will qualify for it.
It's the worst award in sports.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
The worst award in sports.
He'll win it.
It could be him or guy who got addicted to heroin. Played too much video games.
Lonzo will deserve it more, I think, if he can get back to a successful point.
There's no rationale for the player, the Comeback Player of the Year award.
When this has been expected. We've been waiting for Embiid to be this.
Zion Williamson will have the best season of his career so far.
Yes.
You're buying into the hype.
Buying into the hype. I'm buying into the something deep down in me is.
He looks like he's on Ozempic.
I think I'm like a Pelican supporter deep down. Just because
I root for the Pelicans.
They've had a lot of negatives there happen that have never been the players' faults, which I hate when front offices mess up what is going on the floor, right? That just should never be the case. But best career? I mean, yeah, statistically, yeah. I think he'll have his best stats. I think he'll have an efficient year.
I got a hot take.
I think he'll play his most games.
I think he looks too skinny, Roman.
He does look too skinny.
He looks too skinny.
He's moving different too, Mike. It's only a matter of time before a bone breaks now because you're.
That's what I'm saying.
Which I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I'm not wishing that upon him at all. This is actually one of my. I've always hoped for success for Zion.
Same.
He's been hated on, I think, a little bit too much.
He's a freak. I want to see him go out there and do Zion stuff again.
I mean, most efficient player in the NBA when he's on the floor. So,
I just think he's too skinny. Too skinny.
I think, though, that he's got finally enough support to where he's not being asked too much when he's out there now. They can get DeJounte Murray back healthy in time. I like this.
I want to hear your thoughts on this. Luka Doncic
MVP?
wins his first MVP award.
I think he's due, Mike.
Oh, you think so? But you like this one too?
Something about, I need to go look up the statistics on this, but like the best player on championship teams, I feel like they are prone to taking a little bit of a step back after that first year, but it's also rare when that player was also the MVP. The finals MVP and MVP, only player we've seen of that caliber is Jokic, and Jokic doesn't slow down. I don't think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to slow down much, Mike, but I think if Luka can go and compete for that top 3 seed, I think he statistically will be the most valuable player to his team this year.
The Miami Heat will miss the postseason for the first time since 2018-19.
Nope. It's like saying that Mike Tomlin's going to go.
That's the comparison everyone always makes.
No.
It's like saying the Steelers are going to finish below 500.
And this is the best starting lineup they've had. I mean, not like when Jimmy Butler's been unhealthy in the end of the Jimmy Butler saga. I feel like, this is the best group of guys they've had. Now, Tyler Hero is going through surgery or went through surgery. I don't know when he'll be healthy, but Davion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware, I think that's enough for Spoelstra to make the playoffs.
I've got 2 more, and I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on these. This is from my guy, Ricky O'Donnell. LeBron plays under 50 games and lines up an offseason move to the Cavs.
I don't like either one. But I love this scenario here. He has a half bleep season, effort-wise.
Yeah.
And kind of strings some injuries along. Every time he gets a little bit banged up, he turns that into a 2-week thing instead of a 2-game thing. And he sets himself up for one more year somewhere, making a crazy amount of money. I don't see Cleveland doing that. Cleveland's got a plan. I don't think they're going to mess that up financially for LeBron. I don't think he goes to Cleveland.
The Thunder win 70 games.
No. Is J-Dub's right hand even healthy yet? No.
It's concerning. Got that wrist.
And he's not who I'm worried about. It's Chet. Chet's the one that, can you play 65 games? Chet, you're not winning 70 without Chet playing 60-plus of those, in my opinion. So I say no. Those tall, skinny guys, they don't like staying healthy, Mike.
They don't. All right, let's do finals predictions real quick since we're here. I know you want to save some of this. You don't have to go into deep.
No, it's
detail.
just I don't have it yet.
Oh, you don't have yours yet. Well, the season starts today, Ron.
I know. I gotta have it by 7.
Here's the deal. Everybody's picking the same.
Exactly.
Like 4 teams. Last year I went against the grain. Remember, I was like my Bucks, and it completely blew up in my face. I should have just I should have followed everybody else's lead. And I think that's what I'm going to do this year. This is what I'm going. I think the Thunder are going to win it.
I do too.
I get Dynasty starting.
Yeah, I don't have it, but I definitely have them winning, going back to back.
And I'm going with the Cavaliers in the East. Everyone's picking the Cavs and the Knicks. I haven't seen one person take a team besides the Cavs or the Knicks. I think this is the year. I think it's now or never with Donovan. They boosted their, the supporting cast during the offseason. I think the Cavs get it done over the Knicks, and they go out there and they lose to the Thunder in the finals. But I got OKC. I'm boring, but I'm going boring after getting too spicy last year and having it not look great at the end.
I really wish Doc Rivers wasn't the coach for the Bucks, Mike, because I do think that there's enough around that roster with Giannis and the way he played last season. If Miles Turner can be what Miles Turner was last season, with how the East looks, there's no one in the East that can guard him. He should be up there. It's tough to pick a group of guys who have never done it. Like, I don't like picking the Cavs. No one on that team has been a part of a team that's shown that they can do that yet. That's what's tough. But then again, you got to make it. Teams who haven't done it got to do it eventually, right? If a core is a contender, it eventually does happen if they continue to get better. This is the best offense in the NBA last season. They do lose Garland for the start of this season. I think Garland, Garland's not going to be out very long. I think losing Ty Jerome as your only major piece isn't going to be enough to warrant not staying in that status as the best offense in the NBA. I think that what the Knicks just did, I don't believe in Mike Brown, man. That's biased, though. That's a biased opinion. So I'd like to think that he can rejuvenate this Knicks squad, but you're already hearing that Karl-Anthony Towns, what he say, unsure about what his role is already? That's not a good sign. I've got to go with you. Unfortunately, Mike, I hate to do it. Something in my soul is saying Bucks. Giannis is showing that he's coming back for that throne.
Don't do it.
In the East, at least. I can't do it. I don't believe in Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson. They did add some depth. There's some depth on that team now. I mean, Clarkson's a huge addition because these guys had to play too much. They couldn't go to the bench and rely on anybody, and now they've changed that. I really wish they would have just kept Tibbs for one more season. I got to go with the Cavs.
There it is.
Now, if the Bucks can go find a way to get an elite guard and get rid of Doc Rivers midseason, like the texter just said in here, I do like that roster more than the rest in the East right now, which is crazy. I like it more than the Cavs. Giannis is different. He's still different, and people don't acknowledge it enough.
Who's the most random team that is like somewhat possible that I could pick? They're gonna be my dark horse team.
You don't like the 76ers?
I don't like the Sixers. I want to do the Warriors.
It's funny because there's no dark horse in the East. The Cavs or Knicks wouldn't be surprising because the East is empty right now, and the Bucks wouldn't be surprising because of Giannis. Everybody else would be crazy to pick them.
Clippers, dark horse, right there. Boom.
Okay.
That's my dark horse team. That's who I'm going with. But, okay, see.
Tree planting Clippers.
Yeah, those are my guys right there. 502-414-1450 is the Game Day Men's Health text line. We'll pick the winners for tonight's NBA openers a little bit later in the show as well. Also, we still got a little bit of overreaction, proper reaction to play next segment. But now, back to the text line at 502-414-1450. Texter says, are we worried about Brian or any other staff member leaving after this season?
They know what's good for them.
I mean, I wouldn't. If things keep going the way that they're going. I mean, okay, let's say we make the playoff. You'd have some interest in some of the staff members. I mean, I think, and this is nothing I haven't already said before, I don't think Brian is going to just stay because Jeff's here. I think Brian wants to be a head coach at some point in time. And I think even if it's not a direct step to a head coaching job, I think Brian sort of wants to prove that. I mean, Brian's in a difficult position here. It's just like being the offensive coordinator for Bobby Petrino back in the day. You're never going to get full credit for anything. Now, the good news is you're probably never going to get full blame, but you will get some of the blame when things go wrong. But when we had this great game plan against Miami on Friday, where we hold Ruben Bain to just one tackle and Miller Moss is getting the ball out of his hands quickly, and the crazy first play, like nobody's been like, great job, Brian. You haven't heard one person nationally be like, Brian Brom's doing a great job. Occasionally, somebody will throw in a Brom Brothers reference.
Yeah, but talking about like quarterback stuff preseason is more so to hear that.
It's all Jeff. Like, Jeff is always, because people know he calls the plays. People know that he's an offensive guru. So you're never going to be like Brian's not going to win any sort of like offensive coordinator of the month awards or anything like that. And he knows that if he wants to get himself in a position where teams will say he's just as good as Jeff, he could be just as good of a head coach, he's got to prove it somewhere without Jeff. And so, yeah, I mean, I think if the right coordinator position came open, he would potentially leave. I think if the right head coaching job came calling, I think he would potentially leave. The question that I would have is, what happens if somebody comes after Ron English? He came with Jeff from Purdue, but it's not like they've been attached at the hip for years and years and years. This is what their fourth season together. He's 56 years old. I looked it up earlier. I think 56 or 57. He's not that old. If he wanted to go out there and land his only run at head coaching was a disaster. He got the head coaching job at Eastern Michigan and got fired very quickly. They only won one game. But if he wanted to give it a second run, it's kind of like a now or never type deal. Or if he wanted to be the defensive coordinator at a big-time Big Ten program or big-time SEC program, maybe now would be the time to jump. I don't know if he has interest. I don't know how committed he is to just seeing this thing out with Jeff, but somebody might come calling for him. Chris Barkley has done wonders with the running back position. Maybe somebody would come calling for him. So I'm not going to make any guarantees. I think the staff clearly loves it here. I think they clearly like working for Jeff. There's a reason why we've had a lot more staff retention and continuity through 3 seasons than most power conference programs have. I think the only guy we lost was Garrick McGee, left after this year, or last year, and we elevated Deion Branch to coach the wide receivers. But
Shout out Deion.
nothing's going to happen forever. Like, you're not going to be able to keep the staff. You're not going to be able to have success and keep the staff fully intact forever. So I can't guarantee that people won't be looking for jobs after this year if it keeps going really well.
No way Jeff ever pulls a Bruce Pearl, right?
And just abruptly retires.
Like retires in like August one season. Not retires,
can't
but like
imagine.
takes a new job right before the season starts so Brian can get the job.
No, I don't. No, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think he would ever do that. I don't think he likes Brian enough to do that. It's not like a father-son relationship. I don't think he's
enough of a Louisville fan for that.
I don't think he's looking out for Brian that much. I think there's very much like it's different with big brother, little brother, right? Like you're not. You want your little brother to win, but you're kind of gonna put him through the ringer a little bit. You know, I think that they very much have that type of relationship. Texter says footage of Jeff Brahms asking Josh Hurd for a raise. I don't even know what. It's from it's the chokeout scene from Goodfellas. Texas, Mike and Roman. Today is confession day. Is it?
Okay.
I have some confessions to get off my chest. Feel free to reprimand me and call me the bipolar Cards fan if you must. We're not going to do that. 1. In the beginning of the year, I said Chris Bell was the same player as Jalen Withers.
Ooh.
Great potential, but will never break out. Ooh. 2. The first bad defensive series of the year, I tweeted, fire Ron English.
Ugh.
3. I gave up on the season after the Virginia game.
Well, few handful.
You weren't alone. 4. I said Jeff Brom has lost his creativity through 5 games.
Roman Hader was with you on that.
5. I called the O-line leftovers after seeing our run game up until the Miami game. There. I said it. Confession is good for the soul. Go Cards. We're going to win it all. I like this. I mean, look, I came clean yesterday and said it. I advocated it on this show at the end of last season.
Did too.
I said I would fire Ron English. I said I don't think they're going to do it, but I said I would. I would have made the wrong decision. Ron English is crushing it right now.
Ron English wouldn't have made it to the end of the season if I was the coach.
Yeah.
Not.
I mean, we've all, I think, done and said things over the past 12 months in relation to the U of L football program that have been remarkably wrong. It's good to confess. We all want what's best for the program. Nobody wanted to say, fire Ron English. We all wanted it to work out. We just didn't think it was going to. We all were wrong. Not all of us. Some people were saying we should keep him. But Jalen Withers comparison's pretty bad. I mean, that's one you got to wear on the chin right there. Chris Bell's maybe the best wide receiver in college football right now.
Through his ups and downs, he showed a way higher ceiling than Jalen Withers did, I feel like.
Yeah. That's a tough look. It's okay. Look, we're not judging. Good on you for coming clean.
Love the self-awareness.
Love the self-awareness. Texas Mike, has there been a he has all the tools guy in Louisville history that put it together like Chris Bell? Feels like we've been waiting for 3 seasons. This is like it's like the last 3 weeks of Wayne Blackshear's senior season.
Yeah. That was good. Yeah.
But, it's different. Chris Bell has been, I would argue that Chris Bell was better last year than Wayne ever was before his senior season. Like, Chris Bell was really good last season. He just got overshadowed by Ja'Cory Brooks because Ja'Cory Brooks was first-team All-ACC and All-American candidate. And Chris Bell's been doing it all year. Wayne was, he's typical Wayne self. And then the last 3 weeks of that season, boom, he's just like, he's the player we waited 3.5 years for him to be. I'm trying to think of a...
Gorgie.
Gorgie's a good one. I mean, Gorgie, though, he
didn't really have the tools. He just had the athleticism to where if he got the skill, he had to go and...
He made a massive leap
for
his sophomore year. He went from looking like, he didn't know the rules of basketball his freshman year.
Mike, he was the best mid-range shooter in the country.
He was
at the end of his career.
Keep in mind, he only played 3 years. He left after his junior season, but he got markedly better from his freshman to his sophomore season, and then to his credit, markedly better from his sophomore to his junior season. I would throw it. You know who else I would throw out there, and it's a little bit different because he wasn't playing, but Gerard Holloman came here as a very high-profile recruit, couldn't get on the field, and then finally the All-Americans in front of him get drafted, and then his first year as a starter in 2014, he breaks the Thorpe Award, breaks the interception record, wins the Thorpe Award, and was fantastic. So a little bit different where we didn't really see him put it all together until he was actually on the field.
I feel like TJ Capers might be doing it in live time right now.
Would love for that to be the case. I mean, it's good. Typically, when you get to your senior year and you're saying about a guy like, well, he's got all the tools. We know he's a physical specimen. It's just a matter of, is it going to click? It doesn't happen. At least it doesn't happen in this way. I mean, Chris Bell has gone from, can he ever really put it all together, to, my God, this guy's maybe the
Is he the first or third best wide receiver in the
Yeah, I mean, On3 came out with their Bolitnikoff power rankings today for the best wide receiver in the sport. He was number 2. And I was kind of like, I feel like that's a spot too low. He's been remarkably good.
Who they haven't won?
The kid from USC.
Okay.
Whatever. Cost me money last week, I think. Can't be that good. Texas says Pro Football Focus reported that Isaac Brown forced 16 missed tackles against Miami. We talked about this yesterday. The O-line played much better, and Brown finally looked pretty healthy and like the Isaac Brown that we know.
I would ask you this yesterday.
Okay.
Like, was there anything specifically the O-line started doing differently?
So I was about to say, if you want a more educated breakdown of just how different things were in the running game on Friday, go read Keith Wynn's first and second quarter film breakdowns on Card Chronicle today. He laid out, he does a masterful job at looking at just what went right up front, and it started on the first drive. You know, he goes out there, the very first play of the game, he's like, the right side of this O-line, they hadn't blocked like this the entire year. And they're putting out a statement that, like Rasheed Miller takes one of the best run defenders in the country, gets him on his heels, gets a little help with a chip from Jaleel Skinner, just completely takes him out of the play. And, you know, that set the tone for the entire game. But he's got a good breakdown of, you know, the run designs. We did a bunch of stuff, as you probably guessed, but, like, I couldn't pick it up in real time. There's a bunch of sets. There's a bunch of things that we just had not shown at all this season. Like, there were times, like, Keith's looking at a play, and he's like, I've watched this play 10 times. I can't entirely figure out the run design, but I love it, and I know that we've never done before. And you can see how confused Miami is the entire game just because they're like, what is this? I mean, Pete Niagara is fantastic. I know he got the one false start penalty, but he was terrific. Lance Robinson played better than we've seen him, blocking defensive tackles insanely well. They pulled Mame Musa on that first big running play and get him out in space. He made a great play on a linebacker. We didn't mention this on yesterday's show. One of the things that I love that we did, and we didn't do it a ton, like we only did it on 2 or 3 pass plays, but we would do that group cut block where everybody goes low, and you get a quick throw out there. That gets in a pass rusher's mind. Like, if you do that once or twice, you're a little bit, like a millisecond more hesitant to just free rush when the ball is snapped. And I feel like that was another little thing that we did. We just wanted to get them thinking. Because if it's natural ability, yeah, they've got us outmatched, and they got pretty much everybody outmatched. You get them thinking a little bit. We're not sure what we're going to do. Maybe we're going to take your legs out from underneath you. That's where you win the game. And that's where we won the game. I also love, Keith breaks it down. The one sack we gave up was essentially the one play that Jeff drew up where he was like, all right, let's take a deep shot here. And Miami completely snuffed it out. They saw where we were. They realized that we weren't going to have extra help in pass pro, and they brought a free rusher. They disguised it well, and he got straight to the quarterback and took Miller Moss down before he could do anything else. And from that point forward, Jeff, to his credit, a guy who loves pushing down the field, maybe patience is not his best asset, he's like, all right, we're not going to do that anymore. The deep shot's not there for us. We will nickel and dime our way down the field and hope that maybe occasionally Chris Bell or Isaac Brown's going to bust a big one, and that's exactly what happened. He didn't get greedy. And that's, it's a step in the right direction. There have been times in the past where it feels like we were in control and then we get a little bit greedy and it goes against us. Jeff wasn't going to do that in this game. But read those breakdowns if you want to see just how the offensive line was able to give easily its best performance of the season. Keith does a great job. Texas says, thought, if cities can give tax breaks to professional sports teams, why can't Louisville allocate city funds to help pay for Brahms' salary? It increases tourism and livability if a city has a successful sports team. I love this idea. Let's get Greenberg on the phone. I'm going to DM him right now. Can we pay Jeff Brahms' salary? Take down the big bad. It's 30 years is too long. Dude, 30 years is enough. Take down the money we're getting from the big bat. Give it to Jeff Brom.
I want Jeff to be like, I don't want more money. I want 20 more million to work with.
I kind of think that's what he would do.
I think so too. He wants to make Louisville. Okay, I don't want to say a Penn State, but he wants to make us a powerhouse, Mike. I don't think he wants to go to a powerhouse and win a championship because he made that change.
Everybody loves winning. Jeff Brom freaking loves winning. So much so that I think he would be one of those guys that would put his personal, living space. He'd sacrifice that just to have a better chance at winning football games. He's a rare breed in high-level college sports these days, and I'm glad he's being embraced right now. Lose to Boston College this weekend, we won't be saying the same thing. It's like, I don't care about the Honda Accord. Get him out of here. It's the way that it goes. All right, we got 1 hour left in the show. After the break, we're going to play a little proper reaction, overreaction for both college football and the NFL. We'll get back to you guys on the Game Day Men's Health text line after that. We'll look ahead to the night that will be in sports, including the start of the NBA, and make some predictions, and then we'll hand things off to the ticket punchers. Keep it locked right here. Rutherford Show rolls on next here on the Big X.
Hey, basketball fans, plan to pack the KFC Yum
Number 3 here, the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. About to play a little proper reaction, overreaction. Before we do, though, reminding you, if you've been hurt in an accident or on the job, call Tony Collier and the crew over at the Collier Law Firm. Every member of the Collier Law Firm staff spent years working for the insurance companies. That means they got the other side's playbook. They know how to use it. Once they get the most money for your recovery, they're going to let you keep that money which is why their attorney fee started just 25%, not 45 or 50% like the big firms. Call them today at 502-736-8141. You can also visit them online at collierlawfirm.com, COLYER lawfirm.com. Hurt in an accident, hurt on the job, call your law firm. All right, proper reaction, overreaction. Roman Kelly, are you ready for this?
I'm always ready for this.
Let's do this. Proper reaction or overreaction. Halfway home, Indiana is the best team in college football.
Proper reaction.
Oh, you're going with it.
Yeah, Mike. So far, they have been the best team in college football. They've been the most consistent. They've been the most dominant against their opponents. They haven't wavered or looked inconsistent in that. And I feel like they've surpassed what the majority opinion was on their potential. So, out of all the other teams that were in the area right there around them right now, I don't feel like we can say the same for them. So,
let me say that I think that Indiana is really and legitimately good. I think you would have to be just a stone cold hater to say otherwise at this point. There's nothing about their resume that says that they're anything other than elite. I don't think they're better than Ohio State as of right now. So I can't say that I think they're the best team in college football. Best resume? Could argue it. I mean, I might have them number one if I had a vote right now, but I think if they played on a neutral field today, I would pick Ohio State to beat.
I would too.
Well, then you can't say they're the best team, right?
That's just one game.
Okay.
I think Ohio State would win it.
Me
I think
too.
Indiana's shown that they've shown better football this year, though.
Okay. Proper reaction, overreaction. Texas A&M, 7-0, 4-0 in the SEC, one of just two 4-0 teams in the SEC, is going to sweep the SEC. Here's their schedule. At LSU, who's a little bit down, at Missouri, versus South Carolina, at Texas.
No.
I say overreaction, too. They're not winning. Three of those games are on the road.
Overreaction.
I think it's an overreaction as well. Everyone's like, A&M's got this.
Texas is going to win a pointless one there.
They might. It's very much a big brother, little brother type matchup, which leads me to my next proper reaction, overreaction. Arch Manning never starts a game in the NFL.
Overreaction.
Oh, you're still believing in Arch a little bit.
I believe in the boneheadedness of NFL execs.
That's probably the better way to put it. He'll get a shot. I mean, I didn't watch the first 3 quarters of the Kentucky game, but I've seen enough of Texas this season, and I watched that game on the fourth quarter and the overtime on Saturday. He stinks.
Yeah.
Like, he's not good. Now, maybe something comes out at the end of the year that he was playing with a shoulder injury, and that's why he was grimacing. That's the only way that I can see this. I mean, I can't recall a situation where there's been more hype around a guy, and it's not like he's a true freshman that we just hadn't seen. They saw him for a couple of years. Going through practice, we saw him play in real-life game action. He got a couple of starts before this year, and everybody was like, this is the guy. If he's not the best player in college
already
football,
better than Quinn Ewers right now.
I mean, people are tanking for him in the NFL, and he stinks. He's no good. He's missing wide-open receivers every time he's on the field.
Yeah.
No pressure, nothing in his cover. He's just missing guys, point blank. He's missing throws that high school quarterbacks make.
And he's not consistently making the best decision.
He's not.
At his level, with the experience he has, you kind of want to see that already.
I'm ultimately going to side with you. I think he comes back next year, obviously. And I think he has a little bit of a better season. Like Texas isn't good, but they're good enough that he'll have a couple of flashy games against high-quality opponents, and people will be like, see? He won't be a Heisman finalist or anything like that, but someone will take a chance on him in the NFL, and at some point in time, he'll get a start. He's not going to do anything in the NFL, but I think he does. He'll start at least one game in the NFL.
I agree.
But I think he stinks. Proper reaction, overreaction. Fernando Mendoza will be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Overreaction.
I think it's an overreaction, too. You know who I think is going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft? Is the Alabama kid, Ty Simpson. I think someone will take a quarterback number 1. I think Mendoza will be drafted early. I think Ty Simpson will be the guy. I think Mendoza's really good. I'm saying the same thing about Indiana again. I don't think he's the number 1 pick in the draft. Proper reaction, overreaction. Despite losing to Louisville, Miami's just fine.
Proper reaction.
Would you like
But
to
depending
elaborate?
on what you constitute as just fine.
Sure.
Just fine as in still has a very
still-
likely chance of making a playoff.
And still a realistic national title contender. I don't think they're a top-tier national title contender. I do think that they are. Like, I don't think they'll win it because I think their coaching staff is full of a bunch of guys with double-digit IQs. But I think they've still got the talent to overcome that to the point where they're in the playoff and can beat anybody on a neutral field on any given night.
I agree. Okay, I can agree with that.
Like, I don't think that they have a gigantic swoon where, I mean, the second half of their schedule is easier than ours. It is much easier than ours. They've got, I think, the second easiest schedule of any power conference team that has one or no losses. Maybe they drop one more. I don't think they will. Unless Carson Beck just completely gets in his head after the 4-interception game against us, I think they should be just fine. But they're going, like, what we found out on Saturday or Friday is they can't get by just doing the same stuff for an entire season. Everybody has to evolve over the course of a year. They're not evolving at this point, and teams have kind of figured out the best way to attack them. And people are going to follow Louisville's blueprint at this point. So if their coaches don't adjust, then yeah, maybe they're done. I think they will be just fine, though. They're too talented not to be. Houston's Willie Fritz, Roman, is the most underrated coach in the country. Cougars, 5-1 right now. Nobody talking about him.
No. No.
I mean,
Overreaction.
I'm going to say overreaction, too. I do think it's crazy that they're sitting there at 5-1 with a pretty stout resume, and just people, like, the general reaction. And they're not a American Athletic Conference team anymore. They're in the Big 12, for God's sake, and people are still like, oh, really? Like, it's just, they're shocked. Proper reaction, overreaction. Louisville will finish the season higher ranked than Scott Satterfield in Cincinnati.
Proper reaction.
I think it's a proper reaction, too.
I can see them dropping one.
They still have to play at Utah, at TCU, and they've got home games against Arizona and BYU, who could.
I think they lose to BYU and TCU.
They've also got to play Baylor this weekend at home. All 5 of their games, they're not. Nobody in the Big 12 is terrifying, but BYU is undefeated. They could lose to any of the 5 teams they have left on their schedule. Knowing Scott Satterfield the way that I do, feel like they'll lose at least 2 of those games. And 9-3 in the Big 12 with no top 25 wins over active top 25 teams, which is because Iowa State's probably not going to finish the season ranked. I don't think they'll get ranked higher than us if we have the same record. I say proper reaction. You ready for an NFL one?
Yes.
Proper reaction, overreaction. The Indianapolis Colts
Proper reaction.
are legitimate Super Bowl contenders.
Proper reaction.
You're all in on the Colts.
I'm not all in yet, but they're serious and they're contending, I think, because they've been the most consistent team. They're doing it on every area. Special teams, running the ball, throwing the ball, defense in the pass game, defense in the run game. And Danny Jones has been consistent. So
Danny Dimes.
I mean, Jonathan Taylor, he every Sunday, I'm just sitting there in Holly's living room. I've got the radio on. I've got my little setup in the corner, and it's JT with another big burst. Like, their radio guy loves Jonathan Taylor, but he can't be stopped right now. I don't know what would make this waver is where I'm based on what I say. See, it's all hearing. I don't watch the Colts games. I listen to Colts games because I have to, and I'm watching other games as I'm watching the Saints play as I listen to the Colts. It's terrible, but.
I didn't realize Holly was diehard Colts.
No, that's Colts is our big X shift for me on Sunday.
Oh, I see what you're
Work
saying.
from home shift.
I
So
thought Holly was like this DL secret diehard Colts fan.
he's a big Chiefs fan.
Okay.
2018-19 time frame.
Classic. The time where all Chiefs fans were born.
The first bandwagon, not the second time around.
She's OG.
OG bandwagon. It's all good. But I can't deny them at this point, Mike. I really can't.
I refuse to believe. So I bet hard the Chargers this weekend because I was like, the Chargers they've got legitimate pieces there. I think Justin Herbert's overrated, but still, like, the Colts are going to turn back into a pumpkin at some point, and the Colts just smacked them. I mean, they just smacked them around. They don't seem to. I'm going proper reaction.
I feel like, something weird happens. And I don't wish injuries upon any. It just feels a little too good to be true. Like something's going to happen at the end of the year. They're going to get figured out in some way. They find out how to stop the run game. Maybe, I don't know what it is, but I feel like it all starts to crumble right at the worst time.
You're probably right.
At this point, they're not going to end up in a wild card spot, but they lose their first game or they get blown out by somebody not prepared for them or something like that. I don't know. Just this team wasn't set up to be this good, and they are. So it feels too good to be true. But maybe I'm just crazy.
Proper reaction, overreaction. The Cincinnati Bengals can still win the AFC North.
Overreaction.
I think it's a proper reaction. I'm feeding into it a little bit because the AFC North stinks. The Ravens are way down. I think the Ravens could still get hot when Lamar comes back, if he's fully healthy. The Browns stink. The Steelers, you just beat them.
But you also allowed 30 points to them.
33, 31, something like that. Things are going to have to go well. But Burrow's going to come back. It's not a season-ending injury for Joe. Flacco's the man in Cincinnati, the mayor of Skyline Chili at this point. I'm not saying that I'm predicting it. I think it's possible.
It's possible.
I think it's doable.
But here's what. In their last 27 points to the Steelers, or 31 to the Steelers, 27 to the Packers, 37 to the Lions, 28 to the Broncos, 48 to the Vikings, 27 to the Jags.
Yeah.
The defense is just, you can't have a bad defense and a bad O-line. Mike, you know that.
It's true. But I think that division stinks. I think the Steelers are going to come back down to earth, too. I don't think the Steelers are very good. Proper reaction.
I agree with that.
Proper reaction, overreaction. Tua Tagovailoa's time with the Dolphins is done.
Proper reaction. He's lucky Carson Beck had a dark cloud because he would have earned his first thing of the week. He doesn't look like he belongs out there anymore, Mike. And he doesn't. You can tell he doesn't really, really want to be out there.
I mean, everything associated with the Dolphins right now is bad. I've never seen a guy go from, like, genius to run this guy out of town as fast as Mike McCarthy has had this happen. Thing is, he'll still get, like, an OC job somewhere.
Did you see, like, the Glenn and McDaniels combined capri-wearing record this season?
Yes. It's cute when you're winning. It's an embarrassment when you're
he's
doing
a young,
what they're
hipster,
doing.
innovative guy, and now you look like a...
Now it's like, how does this guy even relate to
The
these
guy that
players?
took from his mom's basement playing Madden and threw a headset on.
How did anybody think this was going to work? Last one, proper reaction, overreaction. The Vikings should have re-signed Sam Darnold.
Proper reaction.
Absolutely proper reaction.
He's out there. I mean, he's got the best deep ball in the NFL right now. I mean, him and Drake May are up there, and of course you can't deny Stafford. But in terms of deep passes right now, Darnold's been the best quarterback in the league, I feel like. And
Carson Wentz sucks.
the inconsistency at that position is like when you watch, at least when I've watched the Vikings play, that's where it feels like it's missing. It feels like you've got all the parts you need if you just have a quarterback who knows how to go out there and make the right decision or has the ability to put the throws where they need to be.
Somebody made a similar video with Carson Wentz. It was like the 5 worst throws of the week in the NFL, and they were all Carson Wentz throws. But somebody did it. Did you see the one that they did for Carson Beck?
No, I didn't.
It was a Georgia fan, and he's like, here's the 5 worst throws of the week in college football. We'll start with number 5. It's Carson Beck throwing into triple coverage here. Great play by the Louisville defender. That was a rough one. Number 4, it's the Miami quarterback here at number 4, and he looks left and he throws. I don't know where this ball's going, but it's picked off by. Number 3, it's a transfer from Georgia here, and like they were all Carson Beck, but he was defining him in different ways. Where he's like, number 2 is the it's like sloth. It was it was very cruel, but I laughed.
Did you see in the first fight video? Did you see the Florida State fan who's fully geared up in Florida State gear?
I mean, that guy won twice on.
There was a handful
Friday
of
night.
fans I saw that were there that were fully there to try to celebrate a Miami loss.
I mean,
And then it makes me think about like that Kentucky fan that was there at the game to get the Michael Irving signature or whatever.
yeah.
Florida, I mean, that's just college sports. As much as I think it's silly, and that's different. Like, it's a Louisville away game. You're a Kentucky fan. But still, like, I think that's kind of cool. Opposing fans hating the team that much that they're going to go to a game like that doesn't mean anything for them other than hoping for a loss.
The one, because I'm fine with that for sure. The one thing that I will never understand is going to a Louisville game wearing Kentucky gear while Kentucky's playing.
Yeah.
Because this happens every single year at multiple Louisville games where you've got fans that are like they care so much about UK that they're willing to go to their rivals game wearing UK stuff, but not enough about UK to actually watch them play. And then some UK fans will defend it. It's like, yeah, I wanted to go to it. I'm like, well, then you don't, like, the games are the thing. Like, that's what you're a fan of. You're watching your team. You want to root for them to win. How are you, like...
How does it mean more if you're not watching?
It's like, well, I just, wanted to go with my buddy and, give him that. I'm like, well, I would never... I'm not going anywhere if Louisville's playing, let alone to a rival game that doesn't involve my team whatsoever. That, to me, is the most... I can't wrap my head around that level of hate that I'll just never understand.
Yeah. Speaking of, we got another situation this Saturday.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to be able to watch the game.
Why?
Midway plays at 7 p.m.
Oh, you're calling.
I'm on the call this time. Me and Scoots are switching seats, Mike. He's doing the color.
You're play-by-play.
I'm really nervous.
You'll be fine. You'll do a good job. We also have a little bit of a situation. It's John Rutherford's birthday party this weekend.
Ooh.
And
dinosaur party?
Stitch party.
Stitch party. That's right.
Theme.
Yeah, that's right.
Big Stitch guy. So I think it starts at 5. UVA doesn't kick off till 7:30, but people will still be at the house when kickoff's happening. So
you gonna ruin this party too, Mike?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna ruin. Not unless we lose. Not unless we lose. If yeah. Imagine we look bad in the exhibition game on Friday night, and then we get shocked by Boston College. The Brom clunker becomes inevitable. Yeah, I'll ruin the party.
Or if we just don't look good at the beginning of the game.
You're gonna see Grumpy Dad at the party. Okay, well, you opened your own damn present. Yeah, it'll be bad.
We're down 7-3.
The only time that we've had this conflict before was a couple of 3 years ago. It was John's first birthday when we were playing top 10 Wake Forest, Satterfield's last year, and we blew the hell out of them. We just crushed them. Had the 7 takeaways in the third quarter or whatever it was, and I just remember we're opening presents, and my dad's like, another one! I kept looking up, and we're just running back with pick sixes left and right. So that was great. But this one hopefully will be the same, where the game's in hand, and people aren't overly concerned about what Louisville's doing while poor John's trying to open up his...
How do you pronounce the last name for the Boston College quarterback?
Lonergan.
Lonergan.
Dylan Lonergan.
I think he's due.
You already going to the thing?
I'm not trying to go there this early in the week. I just feel like he's due.
He started off the season very hot. He transferred from Alabama. Didn't play a ton at Alabama. And then they played I remember watching the Boston College game in week 1 or week 2 where they scored 50 points and it went to overtime. And I'm like, damn, Boston College, maybe they've got something here. And then I didn't realize that Michigan State was the worst team in college football. And they haven't won a game since. So he hasn't done much.
Wait, is he playing?
He got banged up at the midway point. He's still playing.
He didn't play against UConn. I didn't realize that.
Oh, he didn't?
No.
Oh.
It was the Grayson James the entire game.
Oh, he was the guy that they were competing with, the other transfer that they brought in.
Yeah.
We talked about this at the beginning, before the season started. Where did he play before? Now I'm completely blanking. It was somewhere because Lonergan was the kid from Alabama. Grayson James was from a small school. I'm looking it up right now. I'm sorry. FIU. But he played for BC last year. He transferred after 3 years at Florida International.
That's right, yeah.
Played for BC. He was the backup last year. Played a decent amount, but wasn't the full-time starter. And I guess they've made the move to him. It didn't go great. They lost at home to UConn by 15. So, yeah. Boston College is on tilt. There's no way around it. It looks like he was 16 of 28, 204, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They did most of their damage on the ground. Ran 49 plays, 49 rushing plays, 28 pass plays. They're going to try to slow it down against us. We got to get the offense going. Grayson James, one of them things, alert level. We'll get to it later. He's thrown 1 pick this season, though. 1 pick, 3 touchdowns. He threw a pick against Pitt.
His first game. That's his first appearance of the season.
Well, no, he played against Fordham.
Oh, okay.
But he was against Pitt, 2 of 9, 21 yards, 1 pick, no touchdowns.
Then they brought in the other kid when they went down against Clemson.
He's got a weird name. I can't remember his name. Ricer, is that right?
Something like that. Yes.
Okay. Anyways, we'll get more into BC as the week.
Reisig.
Is that what it is? 502-414-1450 is the Game Day men's health text line. A couple more texts before we get to the 5 o'clock hour. Texter says, Mike, in your opinion, Is the Friday exhibition game versus Kansas going to be worth a 2-hour drive from my hometown to Louisville? I have a commitment at home on Saturday, so I'm staying in Louisville on Friday. So staying in Louisville on Friday is not possible. I'll 100% be at the BC game on Saturday. I just don't want to make the drive over on Friday for an NFL preseason type product.
It won't be that.
It'll be better than that. This is a question that I can't answer for you.
The Saturday morning obligation really hurts because you could have had a really fun weekend. Just hotel room, spend the rest of the day here, go get you a drink before the game.
I mean, this won't feel like an NBA or an NFL preseason game. It won't feel like the exhibition games we've played in the past against Georgetown College or Kentucky Wesleyan or whoever. But it's still an exhibition.
It'll be electric.
I think it'll be high intensity, but you're not going to see, like, I don't think we'll run a ton of stuff. Most of these exhibitions that you see, you're not seeing any sort of elaborate sets. Everyone's going to play things close to the vest. It very much has the feel of like a 5-on-5.
A lot of threes.
Yeah, you're going out there. Let's play a little pickup. Let's just some fives runs. That's how these exhibition games feel. At least the ones that I've watched. You still get a decent sense of
playing at game speed's the priority, not really running stuff.
Exactly. You still get a decent sense of the skill set of some of these guys. It's the first look that we'll have of some of these guys in U of L uniforms. I'm fascinated to see how we mix and match lineups. But I can't. I don't know what to tell you.
I need the Ollie lob to Michael badly.
I'd love to see that. I'm going to say yes. Go to the exhibition game. It's going to be a scene.
So start something special this year.
You were there for night one. Texture says, here's something I can't stop thinking about. Remaining games for the 3 undefeated teams in the ACC. Yeah. I know. Georgia Tech has Q's. They're at NC State. Boston College at home at Pitt. They're losing at Pitt. UVA, UNC at home, at Cal, home versus Wake, at Duke, home versus VT. They're still losing one of those games. SMU, at Wake versus Miami, at BC versus U of L, at Cal.
Calling it now, Mike. SMU's losing in California.
Well, here's the thing. We at least get to play SMU. I'm not worried about that because we got to go 7-1 to have a real shot anyway. And going 7-1 would include beating SMU.
Gonna have to.
The funniest possible outcome of this season, let's just be real. The funniest possible outcome of the season is Louisville and Miami both go 11-1, 2 of the bigger brands in the conference. We're ranked very high, and the conference championship game is Georgia Tech versus Virginia. It would be 2 on brand. And everybody's like, oh my God, how is this happening? I don't trust any one of these teams. I trust Tech a little bit more than Virginia. I trust SMU. I think SMU is the best team out of these 3. But we get a chance to play them. We get a chance to take care of business on our own. And they're not going to beat us or Miami. They're not going to beat both of us and Miami.
If that scenario happens, who gets in over Miami and us?
What do you mean?
Georgia Tech.
If Georgia Tech and UVA go 8-0,
do we get a bid?
Probably not.
Because Virginia beat us?
I mean, imagine. Okay, here's the thing that would put the playoff committee. So the playoff committee basically had to. They didn't want to put SMU or Indiana in last year, but they had to relent because they couldn't make a justifiable case to put a 9-3 SEC team over one of these, either one of those 11-1 regular season teams that had 1-loss teams that had better resumes overall. If let's say in this hypothetical, Virginia wins the ACC,
like they beat GT.
Yeah, they went out. Their only loss is a non-conference game to NC State, which also would be the most ACC thing of all time. We would be 11-1 at that point with a road win over another 11-1 Miami team that would have beaten Notre Dame, Florida, USF, who might also be in the playoff, and everybody else in the ACC. And our only loss would be in overtime to the ACC champion that's going to the playoff. You're telling me we wouldn't make the playoff in that scenario?
And we'd be like 2 top 14 teams.
Yeah. I mean, it would be ridiculous to keep us out. And then the Georgia Tech's like, well, we're 12-0, and you said that we weren't supposed to get hurt by losing in conference championship games. And the committee's like, well, we can't keep all 4 of you. We can't have 4 ACC teams. This is ridiculous. Virginia would be like the least deserving, but they get the auto bid because they win the conference. If that happened and we got left out, I would just quit college football. I'm done. I can't watch this anymore. I can't respect the sport anymore.
Doesn't matter what you do.
It's absolutely ridiculous. 17-team conferences are atrocious. The whole sport's just bleeped. Get me out of here. It's possible. I think this will all take care of itself, but it is kind of forget about the ACC. It's a disaster scenario for the committee. They don't want to take more than 2 ACC teams. They don't want to take more than 1 ACC team. And there is a potential where they would have to look at it and be like, well, we got to take at least 3.
3 of them deserve to be here.
We got an undefeated team and 2 one-loss teams, and one of them's got one of the best resumes in college football, and the other one beat that team.
Yeah.
Like, it would be very, very tough for them to justify like a 9-3 LSU team getting in over us or Miami or Georgia Tech in that hypothetical. But I'm sure they would try. I'm sure they would do their damnedest. All right, we got to go to break. When we come back, more from you guys. We'll run through the Game Day Men's Health text line. 502-414-1450 is the number there. We'll make some predictions for the night ahead. NBA doubleheader kicking off the season. A couple other things going on. We'll talk about it after the break. Keep it locked right here. 1450 96.1 is the Rutherford Show on the Big X. Not a great way to start the 5 o'clock hour. Here on 1450 and 96.1 Big X Sports Radio. Do you know, Roman, do we have the Western game on our airwaves tonight?
I don't think we do.
Okay.
Well, it's not. I have no idea, but it's not on my Big X calendar.
Okay. Western is in action tonight. It's Conference USA Tuesday. The Hilltoppers looking to bounce back from their first league loss a week ago. They're on the road taking on Louisiana Tech. It's a 7:30 kickoff tonight on CBS Sports Network. La Tech is a 3.5-point favorite. The other game's a goodie as well. Kennesaw State undefeated on the season in the CUSA, taking on Florida International on the road in Miami at Pitbull Stadium, baby. Kennesaw 2.5-point road favorite. 7 o'clock kickoff on ESPN2.
Need the Rutherford two-leg for tonight.
We're gonna get it. You're gonna get it at the end of the show. Sounded bad. It's the final segment. We'll get picks for that. We'll get picks for the NBA doubleheader kicking off the season coming up in about 24 minutes. If you want to have your thoughts heard on the radio before then, hit us up at 502-414-1450. That is the Game Day Men's Health text line. Roman, before we go to the text line, confidence level in the Lakers this season. As a diehard Lakers fan, give me your official preseason prognostication for how this goes out there in L.A.
I'm worried about what the end of the LeBron saga in a Lakers jersey looks like, Mike.
Sure.
However, I do like the couple of pieces we've added. I think that we've got enough alongside Luka to be a productive offense. The defense, I don't know, but I like the Jake LaRavia addition. I like the Marcus Smart addition defensively. Adu Thiero, I think, will be able to play at some point this season with what he is as an athletic body type. So I'm going to be honest. I need to stop sugarcoating it, Mike. I've never liked DeAndre Ayton.
Here we
I hate
go.
DeAndre Ayton. The motor. Rashawn plays harder than DeAndre Ayton. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, Mike. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. He thinks he's something he's not, I believe, is what's going on here.
Oh,
I think
boy.
that early success down in Phoenix did something to him. I don't know what it is. It's not dark cloud. I'm not talking like that. I just think that this is one of those guys that first overall pick, the way he got spoken to at Arizona, I think some of those things, Mike, did something to his trajectory. Granted, we've got the best spoon feeder in the NBA, I believe, in Luka Doncic and his ability to get into the rim and set things up for other guys, especially in the lob realm with a player like Ayton. Outside of that, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like that mid-range. I never have. It goes in. I'm hoping, though, that playing alongside a ball handler like Luka can maybe add something to his drive or something. I'm worried about DeAndre Ayton. Outside of that, I like what we've got.
Doesn't sound like you do. If I'm just being perfectly honest, I was like 80% negative, and then at the very end being like, besides that, I'm good.
Listen,
We're okay.
I like that we were able to bring a good amount of guys back that are key pieces for us. I think Marcus Smart's going to be trying to rejuvenate himself out here. I mean, we'll see what he looks like after the injuries he's gone through. I like the Maxi Kleba addition just as a depth piece to stretch the floor as a big. You put that purple and gold on, it typically makes you play a little bit harder. So I hate to bank on that this season, but
You sound like a UK.
Luka got a little bit, cupped a few lbs down. He's looking better.
That was a very UK fan take. You put that jersey on, it just changes you.
It means something more.
You're gonna play harder out here than you were there.
It's actually the opposite. Like if you're a role player at the Lakers, it makes you hate it, because you don't get talked about. No one cares about you. It's actually probably not a positive.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll see. They get things going tonight against Golden State. Should be fun regardless. We'll get Roman's take.
At the end of the day, I think Luka's good enough. I think there's enough athleticism here to go be a top 5 seed.
Okay. That'd be solid. All right. 502-414-1450. Let's get to you guys on the Game Day Men's Health text line. Texter says, let the good times roll, fellas. We went from no votes for the polls to respectively top 20. Our boys are getting national recognition all over the place. We got hoops on Friday. We got our 2026 point guard. And all UK has is radio silence on the Tyron Stokes commitment. Times are awesome. To clarify, I don't think London Johnson's our 2026 point guard. I think he's our backup point guard. If he's our point guard, then they're much higher on him than I think they are. But
I don't think he is.
I would be shocked. I think we got 2026 point guard is what we've got. I still think we're definitely in the market for a starting point guard, and I don't think we're going to get one until this season ends and the portal opens up. Because I think whoever is our starting point guard for next season is about to suit up for a different team this year. And I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. It's the way the game is played these days.
Don't prefer it.
Chucky Epron worked out pretty well. Go find a Chucky. Yeah. Chuckies don't grow on trees, though. I get it. But good point guards do. We can find somebody. We got the money. Go out there and win a bunch of games this year. Pretty attractive landing spot. Texture says London Johnson feels like a desperation ad because, don't do this text groove. Here, 505 every day.
London Johnson feels like a desperation ad because we can't pony up for high school prospects. This is a depth ad. I don't think it's because we can't pony up for high school prospects. I think it's trying to only do that for. I think we're trying to take the UConn route, Malik. I think we want to be like Dan Hurley.
I don't want to pony up for high school prospects.
And if we do, we want it to be guys we know we want fully because of what they are on and off the court. And you go all in on them. We missed out on Colbin?
Yeah. I was fine with the way that we handled the Colbin Landry thing. UConn's pitch was just more effective than ours at the end of the day. And I think maybe that could change if you go out there and you have a great season this year. I don't want – it's one thing to say I don't want to pay top dollar for Cooper Flagg or somebody like that. Like, there are going to be exceptions. I think Michael Brown's an exception. I don't think we paid some of the numbers that are being and maybe I'm wrong about this. At the end of the day, Michael Brown and Tay Kenny are not equivalent prospects. Maybe Kenny winds up being fantastic. I don't know. But from what's out there, we were going to have to pay more for Tay Kenny than we did to get Michael Brown. And that seems outrageous. I think paying the same is outrageous. Especially when all the data that's out there says it's pretty hard to win when you're overly reliant on freshmen, even if they're super, super good. Rutgers just had 2 of the top 5 picks in the NBA draft. They had a losing record last season.
Who's their coach?
Steve Peichel, for now. We'll see if he is this time in 12 months. He did a great job there. I think the allure of having Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper may have just doomed him to an early firing. But that's the point. You can't be overly reliant on these kids. There are rare exceptions out there, but when you don't have an extremely good class, and by all accounts, next year's class is not an extremely good class, you can't waste all your money on 5-star and 4-star kids. You still want to be able to recruit at the high school level, but $3 million for a 10th-ranked high school prospect and $3 million for a Mountain West Player of the Year or first-team All-Big Ten performer, those aren't equivalent. The college player is the better ad. Everything says that. So I don't want to spend top dollar for some of these 5-star kids that are out there. I just don't. Texture says, Roman, what's the status on the Trenton Flowers interview? Looks like he just signed a 2-way contract with the Bulls.
Yeah. Got to it's in the works. Got to let him get established. It's in the works, though.
Very next text, oddly. Could we get Trenton Flowers to come back now?
I think the 2-way kind of disqualifies those players.
What do you make of, because I saw the same take from 3 different people yesterday in the wake of the London Johnson signing with Louisville News, where they were like, why can't we just go to a system that's like the NHL where teams draft the rights to players, but they still play for their college team? Like, Major League Baseball does this to an extent because the draft oftentimes is happening while the NCAA tournament's happening. But in the NHL, like, you'll draft a player at the beginning of their college season, and then they'll spend that whole season playing for the college team, and then when their college season ends, they go to the team. What's keeping us from doing that besides completely shattering the illusion of amateurism?
I don't know yet. I feel like it's probably NCAA is never going to give permissions to the NBA. I think is probably why we haven't already gotten there.
You're probably right. Texas, I feel like this team chemistry and good vibes are captured in this pick. It's a picture of Chris Bell's touchdown. Dakari Collins is jumping for joy.
Dakari's always hype.
Dakari Collins, I love Dakari Collins. He's always into the game. He always wants to get out there and make plays. Jaleel also hits an early celebration. Jaleel is also a big vibes guy, I feel like, on this team. Pete Niger, you can see him bottom right there, this picture, going to celebrate too. Yeah, Dakari is very, I love that guy. He's big-time energy on a team that early in the season was lacking a little bit of energy. Texas, if someone doesn't do a Raising Cane's commercial off Louisville's football team, I don't know what we're doing. The irony would write itself. That's $1 million idea right there. I mean, if you don't get Pete, like the offensive line,
Perfect.
we know a little bit about what it takes to raise canes. Like, something like that. Get the coleslaw out of here. Texas says, fire Dan Meskey. Come on. Come on. Riddler texted again. Said, based on the ruling that allows guys like London Johnson to play for us, does Trenton Flowers... third Trenton Flowers text of the day. Also, Roman, when are we scheduling the interview? We need to convince him to re-up with the Cards before he signs with an NBA team officially. Let's give Flowers the college experience that Kenny robbed him of. What if that was our first question? It's like, would you come back and play for us?
So, I'm sure you've seen these rulings.
He's like, no. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Played on an NBA floor.
I'm a professional basketball player. Texas, howdy, men. All my Louisville sports thoughts have been replaced by something that has captivated my mind. Today, my wife put down her Pop-Tart, her go-to pregnancy postpartum craving, and I discovered something I never knew. She eats them like this. See photo. She explained to me that she eats the entire border before going into the middle. Is this insane? Am I weird for thinking this is weird? No, this is weird.
This is weird.
You can't do this. Is psycho behavior.
She's nibbling.
I'm worried about your kid now. I'm worried about your child. You can't eat Pop-Tarts like this. She's nibbling the entire edges before getting into the middle. It's like eating a pizza crust first entirely.
That's wicked.
This is psycho. It's wrong. It's what it is. The dad needs to take over raising this kid.
What's your go-to Pop-Tart?
He says, thank you. It's her only flaw. I find that hard to believe after seeing that picture, if you're asking me to be honest here. I'm just joking. I'm sure she's lovely. She'll be a great mother. My go-to Pop-Tart, s'more, probably. I'm a s'more Pop-Tart guy. Frosted strawberry back in the day was my first love.
Frosted blueberry back in the day was my go-to. Now I'm a brown sugar cinnamon.
If you don't go frosted, you're also a psycho. Frosted kind of the only way to go. My kid, they call it Lovey Pop-Tarts because Mary's mom, they call her Lovey. And the only place that has unfrosted brown cinnamon Pop-Tarts is like in Springfield. And so she just brings them every time she comes to town. My kids go crazy for Lovey Pop-Tarts. I don't get it. Parksy fam, by the way, is what he says. I got an issue with Parksy mom. I don't like this. Texture says, I'm predicting Brom era uniforms. I would love if that's the big reveal, then I would love that. I've been waiting for us to do the early 90s Jeff Brom era throwbacks, and we haven't busted them out yet. Texture says, did you watch Jeff Brom's interview on your radio doppelganger, Jim? I still feel so wrong when I say that word. I still think of it as doppelganger. Jim Rome's radio show yesterday. I didn't know he was. Jim Rome his radio people would always email me clips when they had Louisville-related shows. I guess they don't do that anymore because I had no idea he was on Rome's show. Shout out to Rome. Texas not caring about NBA tip-off is another symptom of early onset Republican life. They don't play any defense.
82 games.
It's just not exciting. Is anybody even trying anymore? I mean, I genuinely think that though. It's happening. I'm getting too old. But I've never really cared. I watch the NBA. I like the playoffs, but I've never been a full-on NBA guy, even when I was a kid. I just never. It's my least favorite of the three big professional.
One more year.
What? One more year until what?
You're buying a Michael Brooklyn Nets jersey. Watching every single game.
I thought it was going to be an opposite take there. I didn't know where you were going with that. I didn't like what was about to be said. One more year, and you'll.
I'm only watching Cooper Flagg play.
He's damn DEI hired. One of the Miami Hurricane podcasts that I was listening to, they were like going crazy about the officiating. They're like, the DEI hire there that threw the flag on the fair catch. I was like, oh, God.
Terrible.
I was like, I'm listening to the right podcast for Schadenfreude here. I'm soaking this up. This is wonderful. Texture says, fading thoughts of Friday's game. Leading up, I was annoyed about an earlier kick. I was too. But finishing the game before 10:30 victorious was awesome. Felt like I had more time to enjoy it later. I could not agree more with this take. I was pissed off that I didn't have more time to like mentally prepare after the radio show. But when the game ended, in my mind, it's like midnight because typically those weeknight games kick off at like 8 or 8:30 and they last forever because you got to get all the commercials in. And then you look up and you're like, oh my God, like I got time to get some stuff done. This is great. It ended up being, I love the 7 o'clock kickoff time. Other random thoughts unrelated to the Miami game. Athletics is the only field in college where some can still shame or say you shouldn't be allowed to go back in your mid-20s or even make money in sports. Those still say they're against NIL. Any other field it's celebrated and approved, agreed. And you go back to college, old enough to graduate, it can even be a featured news story. The NCAA's longstanding control brainwashed people into thinking only the athlete should have more stringent, strict regulations for college. Also, there's a 58-year-old receiver for a small college in Pennsylvania. Not good or young enough for anyone to really care, so he's more of an oddity feature story. Google him. I saw this. There's like one of these stories a year. Where
58,
Mike? Yeah, there's a guy that like went to the Army after high school and didn't play in college, so he still has eligibility. There's like one of these stories every year. Usually they're not 58. Usually they're like 48. But, yeah, he's on the roster. I agree with the text. Texter says, I got the chance to catch a basketball practice. Unfortunately, they went pretty hard the day before, so I didn't get the chance to see them scrimmage like I was hoping. I can confirm there's no fake juice with PK. He's on 100 the entire practice. They did some work on breaking a press, running half-court sets, and defending half-court sets. If PK saw something he didn't like, he got out there himself and showed how it needed to look, which was fun to watch. PK was in his out-of-timeout bag, per usual. Everything he drew up was a bucket. Passing looked great, per usual. Small detail, but I was impressed with the scout team. Thought they gave the team good looks. Can't wait to hammer McNeely three-point props early in the season. He probably missed one shot his entire day in the gym. Everyone was locked in and the vibes were high. Can't wait for Friday. I don't know if this is or should be out, so don't read. Well, okay. So don't read on air. I will. Okay, I won't say it. Now the listeners are furious.
How do I get into practice? No offense. I mean, I love Lazar guy. He's a part of the Ticket Punchers show.
I love how this is always your primary takeaway when someone's got something like this. You're like, why am I not on the team?
Where's my gold jersey?
How do I get to kick field goals for Louisville? I don't know. You maybe just start saying maybe Pat Kelsey doesn't like your takes.
Probably not.
Texas, wasn't Jeff offered the Tennessee job back in 2017, but he turned it down because they wouldn't put a clause in his contract that voided his buyout if he was ever offered the Louisville job, or did I just completely imagine that? I don't know. Someone would have to tell me if that's true. I don't remember here. Maybe it's one of those things that I've memory hold and just knew at one point, but just don't have lost track of. But that's not ringing a bell for me. Not saying you're wrong, just saying I don't remember. Texas, I don't want to ever hear anyone say the U.S. is a meritocracy again. I would easily take the over on the total of fired college football buyouts this season exceeding $100 million at this point. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Over $200 million, I bet.
It's the best job in the world. Fired football coach is the best job in the world. Okay, Brahm's story does not sound like it's true. The Louisville clause thing. Sounds like no. We get instant results here.
Love it.
On certain things, on very specific things. Texture says, you think the end of the Stanford game was on the back of Brahm's mind for the end of first half decision to punt on fourth down? Pretty much the exact spot on the field in some time remaining.
Yeah, they asked this in the Running with Roman show here. We talked about it for a bit.
Roman Hater said, Mike, it's Jack Sorgi, not Sorgi. I said Sorgi. I know his dad. NFL quarterback for the Colts. Texture says, the wild part about Mack and Holloway playing so well is all we heard about in spring and fall camp was how good Rodney Johnson was. I know he was banged up the past few weeks, but even the first 3 games, he wasn't playing much at all. It is. I mean, I drew the comparison this summer to the 2014 summer when everybody was like, the secondary is just big mystery. They're not going to be good. And Holloman wins the Thorpe Award. James Sample goes out there and turns himself into an NFL draft pick. I think we had a couple of other guys that ended up being like all-conference type players. And the secondary was the backbone of the defense. You just never know, especially when you've got guys that haven't seen a ton of playing time or guys coming up from lower levels. Our secondary has been tremendous. And we thought it was going to be the weakest unit on either side of the ball. Texas says, hey, Mike, a while ago, I heard a rumor that these exhibition games had contracts that sort of scripted them. The example was certain teams weren't allowed to play a certain style of defense. Any truth to this? Are these exhibitions likely scripted now between the big teams to just be a fake pep rally? I don't know. I mean,
hope not.
I think this became a conversation here locally when Kenny Payne was talking about how, they asked one of the exhibition games they played, like, not to press and all this stuff. And I do know that happens with these bye games. I'd be willing to bet that there's some sort of talk between the two sides in a situation like this, but not as far as, we're going to, you can't press or you can't do this or we don't want to do this. I think it probably varies from game to game. Bill Self and Pat Kelsey don't have I think, extremely close relationship. They don't have their careers haven't really overlapped at any point. This is basically an Adidas thing. That's the reason we're got this series done. But so I don't know how much that they would say, like, we don't want to do this or could you please do this? I don't know. But I think it does happen. Dave, teacher from Jeffersonville, said, in sleep he sang to me, in dreams he glazed, that voice which glazes me and sings Brahms' praise. And do I glaze again, for now I find the Phantom of the Opera is there inside of my go-karts. He said that he was talking about the movie Phantom of the Opera is coming to a theater, so it's just like $15. Okay. That's a lot more attainable than those Boston theater tickets for $520.
Definitely win you that on Ticket Punchers.
You could, he'll make you $15. Listen to Roman. Texas, I don't think it's absurd to pick the Bucks, but I don't think it should be because of the roster. It's simply just that the East is awful and Giannis is so much better than the second best guy in the conference. Yeah, Roman, that's his take.
Yeah, I mean the roster it's not bad. Miles Turner's a big get for them. Kevin Porter Jr. had a lot of positive flashes for them last season. I think they'll be a little bit better defensively than people think. But yeah, Giannis is just head and shoulders above the rest.
We have so many texts to get to.
And you're not going to get to.
I'm not going to get there. This is my fault. I didn't lay things out well. Timing was bad. I thought we had fewer texts. Texas says, Buddy's a college official. Only reason I got in, Roman. Oh, that's why he was at the practice. Just letting you know.
Oh, okay.
Texas, Mike and Roman, what's your take on Rothstein having us at number 14 to start the season? And if either of you heard about the St. John's Towson exhibition game, which Towson led at halftime. I saw this floating around last night. St. John's was down at halftime. They weren't making any shots. Tail was old as time. And then, I guess, pulled it out in the second half. Rothstein at 14 doesn't surprise me. He posts his rankings every single day. He's done it for months. So, 14, whatever. I think we're a little bit better, but not going to get too worked
14 better rosters than us. I really don't.
I mean, he had us as a bubble team at best last year going into the season after watching us practice fully healthy. So, Rothstein had no ball. Texas says, this is Chris Plummer. God, I hope never, if Jeff leaves, why not Brian as his replacement, regardless of what Mike thinks of him? Be an unproven head coach. That I don't know if you can do that. I love Brian. Would love for him to be the head coach but I think you'd have a hard time getting the fan base to buy into him as going from an offensive coordinator who doesn't call plays to head coach. Like it's quite the leap. Texas, I've been a Warriors fan for years, but they've never been less likable. Steph with all the Drake loyalty and going to the Benson Boone concert and Draymond being Draymond. I've got ick to the max.
Yeah.
It's tough. I think the Benson Boone hate's overrated. I get these kind of like a meme. Sorry he flips. Sorry he's for the kids. I don't hate Steph for that. I could never hate Steph. I hate Draymond. I don't hate him. I just don't like him. Texas says, it's too long. Sorry. This is way too long. Way too long. Yeah. Texas, what are you guys most excited to see on Friday outside of Michael? I want to see how Khalifa looks against super talented athletic bigs and to see if Frew looks like he'll compete at a high level. I expect greatness from our other guys, but those two are so unknown.
I want to see Adrian Woolley.
I want to see Woolley. Frew's the biggest thing for me. I want to see how he looks in this game.
Frew, that's number one. I actually go Kanai. I want to see if that jump is visible out there. And then Woolley, I want to see if he can defend like I'm reading he can.
We have legit like 35 texts that I'm not going to get. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I effed up. My fault. Hand up. NBA doubleheader tonight, Roman. Rockets Thunder of game one. OKC's a 6.5-point favorite at home. Who you got?
Thunder are going to cover here. They're going to win. Getting their rings tonight.
Thunder win, Thunder cover. Warriors, Lakers in LA. Who you got? Here we go.
Give me Luka and an exciting one here.
I'm going with your Lakers winning straight up I got the Lakers. Kennesaw State, FIU. Kennesaw State wins and covers on the road. Tops at La Tech. La Tech wins, but doesn't cover. 3-point win. Back tomorrow. Ticket punchers now. Go Cards.
Go Cards.
Plumbing and refrigeration.